just a second, and we'll get everything going. Hello. Haven't done one of these in a while, so I felt like doing one. Since I'm a busy person with lots of like writing projects and stuff, I don't want to get a whole bunch of video projects going that I'm going to be editing hours for that I think would just be better served as a live stream. There's no point in doing all that when I don't have to. Felt like doing one. Since I'm a busy person. Now I'm a little rusty because I haven't done one of these in a while, so be merciful. Alright. Alright, we're going to let some people come in. I'm going to do a couple announcements. First off, I have been quiet because I've been really busy. I also went dark on all social media, so that's probably why you haven't been able to contact me if you're trying to do that. Most of my social media accounts are pretty much gone. I'm done trying to be some sort of social media influencer or something like that, like I wanted to when I was younger. It's not really a dream I have anymore. That's not really who I am, though I will have some sort of social media presence because I kind of have to as a writer. But that's all going to be handled by somebody else. I'm not putting up with that. Social media is cancer, in my opinion. But been working hard on some short story collections and stuff like that I've been writing. Serialized short stories that I'm going to be releasing one at a time, sort of like old pulp novels or like a TV show or something like that. They've been going really well. Really freaking well. So I'm really happy about all that. Hello, Comic Legend. Got some of this Mountain Dew right here. Illegal substances being downed right in front of the camera. Although, given the area I live in, I don't know how illegal it is anymore. I'd have to look into that. Moonshine's very famous here. So yeah, that's been going pretty well. I've got a podcast I'm working on for a different channel. I'm not going to say what it is because I kind of want the audience to find it organically, because I'm trying not to share audiences with this one. This is my casual channel where I'll just casually watch things and respond or upload things that I feel like uploading when I feel like uploading it. There will be no consistent schedule. It's just going to be me doing stuff. So, what else is there? Oh yeah, as far as like going off social medias, it wasn't really anything motivated by any kind of drama or anything like that. It was just, I noticed how much time was being wasted and how much was not getting done and how much it was just kind of distraction. It was just distractions, and not only that, but it was also just kind of, it was just stealing time from me that it didn't need to be stealing, so I cut the cord. Maybe I'll come back one day, but today is not that day, and it might not be that day for a while. So today we're going to be reacting to, or I'm going to be reacting to, Modern Dating is Draining Me by 1stMan. Now this is a creator that's in the self-improvement circle. He kind of, his entire shtick is that he talks about things like what he calls the male advantage. He's got a book where he's written about this, where he basically believes that women hit their peak when they're like 23 to 25, right? Whereas men hit their peak when they're in their mid 30s, or even just at 30. So men have to work when they're younger to hit their peak when they're older, where women don't have to do that necessarily, and they can just kind of hit their peak when they're younger. That's what he believes. He's got some good content. I like most of his stuff personally, but the problem is that also I just, since I've been having some more revelations and stuff like that, been drawing closer to God, I see a lot of things that kind of contradict the lifestyle that I believe God wants me to live. Obviously, just, you know, promiscuity and having sex and stuff like that with lots of partners is obviously a thing I'm not going to agree with, and that's obviously something that 1stMan stands by. But hey, this might be the first step of not seeing that anymore. This might be him finally realizing that that kind of lifestyle isn't really a good one. At least that's the vibe I got from it. I don't know. This isn't really to throw shade. It's just really to give my perspective. I did kind of see this coming because 1stMan's a smart guy, right? After a while, you're gonna have to start noticing just how little fruit a lifestyle like this is bearing. And I think he is beginning to. He is not really enjoying himself. Like you said, he says it feels like it's draining me. And yeah, I get that. I get why he would say that, because I feel like it's probably a common thing that a lot of people are going to be having. Is that when you're going around just dating a bunch of women, turning it into almost like a game, it's not really fun, because the whole reason I would want to date and stuff like that, I want to date, is because I plan on finding a partner that I can settle down with and have a family with. I don't want to just go through the entire list and go, okay, well, now that I've tried all my options, it's like, people aren't options, people aren't a car. So we need to stop treating them like they are, men and women. So we're going to react to this video. In the past, he's talked about, he referenced some of his old videos. In the past, he's talked about how the only way to level up in life, and the way that you can tell what a high level man is that he gets all the women, he's a hard worker and all that other stuff. And I don't agree with all of his points, but I agree with a lot of them, and I do appreciate his recommendation of like hard work and stuff like that, and I really like that. So we're gonna go ahead and start.
Came here to watch. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. This video, I did promise it earlier on the community feeds, it's gonna be a little bit longer, and I'm definitely gonna need my phone. I'm gonna need my notes. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll try and scroll.
I might speed this up, but I don't
Probably
know.
got to the bottom by now. That's all the notes that I was making earlier, so I'm gonna have to go through a bunch of this. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because this gets spoken about a lot, but it comes from a perspective of guys who, you know, many of which do not get women, many of which who are not attracting women. I'm in a position in my life, or at least I've got to a position in life now, where it's regular, it's beautiful women. This will be coming from a perspective of a guy who's not angry, who is in the top 1%, who is that guy that, you know, when people speak about, oh, there's a small percentage of guys that are sleeping with all the women. Like, without sounding like a dick, based on what's going on in my life, I would assume I'm in that bracket. If I'm not,
I do apologize for whatever language you might hear. You know, I don't want to offend your delicate ears, but you know, we're just gonna.
Then you know there must be some guys out there doing very well, and obviously there is.
He is referring to incels, by the way. He's talking about those guys that are really angry at women and stuff like that go overseas to like the Filipino women and stuff like that, and Filipina, I think they're called, and just, you know, they recommend doing that to spite women here. And like, even if what they're saying is technically correct, you don't need to be doing things out of spite, you don't need to be angry and all that stuff. That's what he's referring to.
This guy's always doing better than you and worse than you and whatever, but I would say without a doubt I'm in that bracket. If I could post, which I never would, but if I could post the type of women or the exact women that I've slept with in the last year or so, you know, just for example, I'd probably have a lot more followers, because people would be like, wow, this guy's legit. But I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's fair. But the whole topic of this video, and you know, I'll look down at my phone and then I'll come back to you guys and whatever, but the whole topic of this video is that modern dating in the West is draining me. And the reason it's starting to drain me is, and this is strange, this is why I wanted to make this video, because it's draining me, and yet I'm getting great results off it. That's how bad it's become. And you guys have got to understand, right, that I am
well, the results can't be that great then.
Self-improvement guy. My whole thing, my whole job, if somebody asked me what do you do for a job, I guess I could say I find solutions to male problems. That's pretty much, I would put that on a business card or something. I find solutions to male problems, because that's what I do. That's what my videos are about. That's what my supplements are about, my body wash, my boxers, my streaming platform. I find solutions to male problems. And I'll wrap all this together, but here's another thing about me. I am a bit of a degenerate. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm very, like when people say, oh, these toxic guys, that's me. I'm that guy. Okay, I'm a little bit of a nightmare.
This is kind of the beginning of what I'm talking about when I say that he's starting to have like some self-reflection, being like, maybe this lifestyle that I've been promoting the whole time, maybe there's like holes in the logic, and maybe this isn't quite the way it should go. So this is why I kind of have some hope, and I don't know if First Man's ever gonna see this. He might be like Hamza, where he like watches probably like almost every bit of content that gets made on him. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be intimidated by me or anything, so I don't expect the First Man fan base to just swamp this video with dislikes. They're not really like that. But I do think this is kind of him just showing, like, this is him kind of showing some self-reflection, where he's just like, I've been told to be that guy, and I'm getting results, quote-unquote, but something's missing.
I will fuck girls, I won't message them back. I won't give a shit. I'll go out, as I told you guys before. I will sit at a bar, I will talk to nobody, I'll just be that stranger at the bar, I will pay nobody any attention. I'll be, one or two response words to women, a little bit of a dick, and then somehow I end up going home with women. And I'm just,
Okay, so what he's talking about, where he's like the guy who doesn't talk to anybody, the mysterious guy, something like that, and he gets respect and stuff despite the fact that he acts like this. I've been there. Maybe it was because I was watching content like this where I was trying to mimic that and be like, oh, so this is how you get respect. But ever since I've, again, been improving my relationship with God and with people around me, that's not necessarily what you need to be doing, because a lot of building relationships, good relationships that mean something with people, requires you to open up just a little bit. And I'm not saying be a big cowardly blubber baby, right? But it does require you to kind of open up towards people and to be a bit more loving and not just be a rock and a stone, right? As important as being cool when the when times get tough, as important as that is, at some point it can go too far. And if I'm being perfectly honest, Chris, I think your philosophy is where it goes too far. It's where I can't react to anything. I have to be on top of everything. I don't think that's necessarily a good philosophy. I think you do need to let go of it just a little bit sometimes. It's okay to be vulnerable around certain people. It's okay to be loving. It's okay to constantly humble yourself. I'm not saying you're not humble, because I've heard some of the stories from you and some of the things you've done. I do think you're a fairly humble guy. I just think you can go too far with it, and I as someone who tried mimicking that, I prefer the lifestyle I'm living right now compared to the one where I was just a cold stone for like the last 2 years of my life. I prefer this right now, where I'm more open about things, where I can tell people certain things, where I can express love towards the people that I care about and the ones around me. I like that a lot more, and I think it's a lot better. And I think my relationship with Jesus, with God, is a lot stronger because of it, because I'm trying to act more like him in everything that I do with everyone that I am surrounded by. And this lifestyle is just not, it is not compliant, it is not congruent with the lifestyle that I think people should be living.
It kind of pisses me off, because I'm like, this is weird, this is backwards, how does this work? I don't like this. I remember when I was growing up as a kid, let's say if I was, so you guys, I'm 30 years old, for those of you who don't know, when I was like 18 years old, going out for the first time, 18, 19, 20, around those years, where I really hit the clubs hard and loved all that shit, I would approach every beautiful woman that I saw. And some yes, some no, some have got a boyfriend, whatever. But they would all, be open to the idea. They would entertain the idea. And you had to, we always had a phrase, it was silly, but it was like you had to talk your way into her pants. Do you know what I mean? It was that sort of thing. You had to be the guy at the bar who had a few jokes, who, could dance a little bit, and now it's all changed. And what I mean by that, when I'm linking it all together, okay, is like I said, I'm some toxic, degenerate guy who sleeps around far too much. They're all beautiful women, but far too much. And yet somehow I'm sought after, or I get results, or I can go out and take someone home. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that there's guys out there that are very good guys that have barely ever slept with anybody, who have got strong religious beliefs, who might be saving themselves for marriage, and girls will be like, oh no, he's a little bit short. I just find all that ridiculous, okay? And when I bring it all full circle, what I mean by the self-improvement stuff for myself is that I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't support it. That may come through in some of my videos sometimes. That when I say the reason I don't chase women, it might be like, okay, this guy's telling us to be this way. This guy, I'm telling you to be that way if you want to get results. I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying I like it. But at the end of the day, what can you do? And I
say, this is where this is where you start seeing it just a little bit, where he is saying now, where it's just like, well, I'm not saying that I like it or agree with it, right? I don't think he is like that anymore. The problem is that I think he did agree with it at one point in time. I think he might have changed his position, and now he's saying, well, I don't agree with it, but I'm saying this is what you do to get results. This is what you have to do. And maybe with the results of what he's talking about, yeah, this is what you're having to resort to. But I don't like this idea where he just says, you know, what else can you do? There's other options. This isn't it, right? Just being this degenerate that goes out and just gets all the women and gets all the money, right? This isn't the only potential lifestyle that you can have. There's one where you can have some sort of relationship with Christ, right? And it can, if you just take Christ's love, the way he loved people, and learn to understand him and build a relationship with him, you could then take that same love and then you just basically, like a wildfire, just spread it to everyone else. Try to spread it to everyone else around you. Help where you can. Even if it's not your job to do that or do this or do all this other stuff, just be there for people and just be a good person who has a strong moral core, right? I'm not saying be a pushover. That's not technically the same thing. I'm saying that you need to have like a level of strength and humbleness. Both these things need to go together. But I don't like this idea that this is it. This is the only real lifestyle that you can live, and even though I don't like it, I have to do it. It's like, no. I think a part of you does kind of understand that the lifestyle you're living at this point, and again, all respect to you, man. You've been doing great. You've been doing like you started like a streaming platform. You've been funding it. Basically, it's gonna be like your own Netflix by the end of it. You got like a vision for it, and you're willing to put in the work. I gotta respect that. That's really cool. As someone who is trying to create his own platforms and stuff like that, his own stories, I have to respect that. That's really cool. But at the same time, I think you are also getting to the point where a part of you knows that somewhere along the way, some of your methods are not quite working.
I'll jump back to that point in a minute because there's something I want to explain on that, but I don't want to lose my point on here. Like I was saying, I don't like it, but it's a solution for a problem. And this is what I do. This is my job. When I was 18, it was different. In my mid-20s, and yeah, probably mid-20s, I struggled with women. I didn't really know what to do. The whole game had changed. I'd been in a relationship for 4 years. I was like, what the fuck is all this about? This is different. I don't get it. So I learned what was going on. I figured it out. And I'm now in a situation where I think I've somewhat mastered it. Am I the best in the world? No, but like I've mastered it to an extent where I can get what I want. I just don't like the way in which I have to do it. Everybody's walking on eggshells. It's disgusting. It's almost like you meet a woman and Hamza phrased this the best in a video with Jack. I was watching it earlier to get some extra stuff ready for this video. And Hamza said something like it's almost a race to who can catch feelings first or something. He said something similar, right? And that's what it is. It's like, and if you win that race, you lose. Because I've had this with women. They've caught feelings first and it's like, I've got all the power. You know, I've said to a girl, and this isn't catching feelings, but we've been talking for like 2 weeks, super interested, and I'll be like, do you want to grab a coffee tomorrow? It's my only day off this week. Oh, so thirsty. You wanted to actually meet up. And you're like, fuck, like what is that? What is that? Like, what?
Now, this right here is the reason why I wanted to make this video, because not to really try to humiliate or anything him here, but this sounds like almost like a cry for help, like he's looking for an answer, where he's starting to see the holes in his own logic, you know, where he's just like, I'm trying. It seems like a game at this point, like who can catch feelings first, and I can see that. I can kind of agree with that. The dating market has basically become a game, right? That is the God's honest truth. And he's even talking about how he's interested in someone. He asks them out or whatever after they that's the response they get. And after that, I was just like, I think this would be worth a response video because this is a topic that is kind of interesting. I just think, again, your lifestyle that you're living, I think, is the wrong one. And yes, you can live a wrong lifestyle. Hello, haters. How you doing? And I just think you're not seeing the fulfillment that you would like to have. Sounds like to me you want some sort of deep personal connection. I don't think, unlike Robert Greene, I think life is more than just a power play between people. I think life can be much more than that.
Well, why is that even a thing? Like, I know how it all works, and I know that, you know, what that insinuates, but still I'm sat there and going, like, I'm like, who cares, move on, but, you know, what a stupid woman she must be. But at the same time, I'm thinking, meet up and go for a coffee. So then you realize, oh, what people are doing is just acquiring numbers. We're almost like taking souls. We're like vampires, just sucking the blood out of people. Oh, he liked me. That gives me validation for another month before I feel like shit again with anxiety. And
well, problem is that a lot of, like, Western society has started demonizing men, right? They don't like men. They want them to fail, and they want them to be pathetic, and they want them to be weak. So, as a retaliation to this, men started getting more aggressive with what they could take and what they could have. It became a game. And then women got in on it too, because a lot of women have become more masculine. So they're in the competing game too. Now everybody's competing. Nobody sits down and thinks to themselves, what position does God want me to have in this life? Because God forbid I humble myself before the Creator. I have to get this thing that I want. As much as I like a lot of these people that are in this manosphere, it is a game now. You got Robert Greene, you got even David Goggins talks about taking souls and stuff like that. It's all a competition. The only way we can win is if we control, destroy, or belittle the other one to get ahead. That's the game now. That's all life is to these people. And it is a materialistic point of view. It's a very bad one. Which is why you need to start investing in a kingdom that's beyond this one, and one that's ahead in the future. One that's not of this world. Because you're not going to find your fulfillment here, because the way the world works, if the only way you can find fulfillment is trying to be the top dog, it's not going to work for you. Either one, you're never going to achieve it, or two, you will achieve it for a short time, and then somebody else will be coming looking for you, and you're just going to be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life. It just never ends. You're just never satisfied. That's why there's so many depressed celebrities out there. Despite the fact that they have the whole world at their fingertips, they're still not satisfied. This is the same thing. Now, it's just leaked into dating. We don't see each other as valuable partners anymore, someone that we can team up together as one flesh in Christ. There's no emphasis on that. There's no emphasis in some sort of holy union. Now, it's, well, since there's players out there, you know, a lot of women think this, since there's players out there, I've got to basically be one too. No. I think both of you are wrong. Both of you need to stop, men and women, and you need to actually humble yourselves and actually start looking for a genuinely good person, genuinely good partner, and try to build a relationship up that supports one another and ultimately honors God. That's why I think that's the only way you're going to have an actual successful, good marriage. And yes, marriage should be the ultimate goal. Or abstaining. That's what I think your two options should be. There are plenty of people who have only just had life with Christ, and that's it. That's just all they want. They don't want a wife, or don't want a wife. They just never got married. Paul did that in the Bible, and he's one of the most influential figures in all of Christendom.
And I'll probably drop him a text and be like, hey, sorry, I was busy. Do you want to meet up? And if he says yes, oh, I've got that buzz back again, and I don't have to actually meet him. Thirsty guy. That's weird. That is weird. And I will remind you again, it's coming from a guy who has, you know, who is actively sleeping with women, okay, and beautiful women. But even at times, I will get that. A woman who will just shut it down and just be like, just goes blank. And you're like, what? You're 20, let's say she might be like 27, 28 years old. You don't have an enormous amount of time left. You still look good, but you don't have an enormous amount of time left. You're willing to give up a guy who is, and I don't want this video to be like an angry look at me bragging about myself. I don't want it to be like some of these women in America that go nuts because some guys got some passports and went and got women abroad. It's not that. But if we were to do it logically and calmly, and we were to add this up, I'm a 6'2", 95 kilogram man who's making like probably, you know, on average in between 60 and 80,000 per month. Let's call it 70,000 per month. Who has his own streaming platform, has about 6 or 7 different companies, so to speak, within this business, has, you know, social power, so to speak, has a cool life, has a penthouse, has a Range Rover, money in the bank, retired his mum, paid for his dad's funeral, did a speech at the funeral. Like this is somebody who's very accomplished, had a history in finance, is well educated, is articulate, who is calm, who can fight, you know, if need be, who is respected by people, you know, who, you know, has a skincare routine, very nice clothes and stuff like that, always smells good, you know, looking to start charities, even female charities, and you're like, that's not bad, right? I don't want to toot my own horn, but you go, that's pretty good. Is in top 1% shape, is in, you know, has top 1% wealth, if not maybe a little bit higher, and you go, that's weird that you would be like a 28-year-old woman, and it could be something so simple as, oh, he was free for a call, he's not busy. That's so unattractive. That's a red flag. It's like sometimes you just got 2 hours spare. Do you know what I mean? And this is.
I think another problem that he's having is that, for one, he's obviously looking for the wrong women, right? If you're looking in this specific market and you keep getting these kinds of returns, maybe you're looking in the wrong place, right? If your goal is to just find a woman that both of you can just kind of benefit off one another, naturally they're going to be thinking in the same kind of competitive, does this benefit me kind of mentality that you have, that you've been encouraging men to think like this for at least 3 to 5 years. You know, with respect to you, that's what you've been encouraging, and it only makes sense that women en masse would be getting in on this too, especially now since the narrative is that men and women are basically the same, they just have different funny bits, right? I think it's time to start looking in a different market. I think it's time, if you're really wanting this much, again, if you have some sort of shared mutual goal, the big one being, if both of you want to honor Christ with your bodies and become one flesh, that is going to be the strongest relationship you can possibly have, because both of you are united under one God and one unit, trying to accomplish the same mission. But it doesn't seem like you're really wanting that. It seems like you're just trying to attract them with what you have materialistically alone, which is such an unstable way to do that, because that can change. That can change on a whim. Maybe we need to stop thinking materialistically. Yes, it could be our nature to think this way, but shouldn't we be better than nature? And that's another thing that 1stMan kind of appeals to. He appeals to the law of nature. It's like, well, naturally, men and women are like this. Yeah, I don't care. I think we're called to be more than our nature. I think we're called to be more than just the brain that we have, and the sinew and bone and tissue and muscle and blood that's running through our veins. I think we're called to be a little more than that. It doesn't matter what our nature is.
This is the problem, is like, unless you're absolutely perfect in terms of being toxic, which I'm also very fucking good at if I need to be, well, then things fall apart. And I don't want to be like that. I don't necessarily like it. And this jumps me back to, you know, I'll do it for results. Like I said, I'm a self-improvement guy. I find solutions to problems. I found a solution to a problem, but I don't like it. And I'll jump back to what I was going to say earlier. I was with a videographer the other day who's working on the stream platform with me, and we were talking about women, because he's 21 years old. So we were talking about women, stuff like that, and I was like, look, here's the thing, mate. I was like, I don't like doing it. I don't really approve of it. But in business, be as polite as possible, be as nice as possible, help people out, go over and beyond. When dealing with other men, same thing. You know, be polite to people, help them, show people respect. Elders, family members, you know, kids, whatever. When it comes to women, treat them like shit. And I was like, and I hate myself for saying that, but if you don't, you won't get results. And this is the problem.
Again, these are just materialistic gains that you can measure on a chart. I don't want that. Sounds terrible. It obviously is. You made an hour-long video complaining about it, so obviously something's not working. I mean, look, man, it's draining you. That's terrible. And I don't think we should just, you know, as on principle, right? It's another materialistic thing. It's on principle. We should just treat certain people well and certain people bad. How about you just, you know, treat people that way because that's the way, yeah, like I do it because I love the Lord. I love what he's done for me. I love what he's done through me. I love what he did for me 2,000 years ago. However, when I do things, I do things with that kind of mentality because I love what he did for me, so I'm going to continue to want people to experience that kind of love, and I want to keep giving myself the way he gave. I want to keep loving people the way he loved. That's what I want to do. It's not just a principle thing because, oh yeah, that's what you do as a man, right? I think that's fine as a principle, but I think we need a little more than that. We need some sort of stability. We need some sort of rock to put this foundation to use as a foundation, more than just some ill-defined principles. We need something more concrete.
Problem with the Western world, and I'm going to switch it over here because this is the problem with the Western world. And it started with me in Toronto. I was 22 years old in Toronto, and I saw this beautiful mixed race girl. I went over in this club. I can't remember what the club was called now. Apartment 200, I think. Really, really nice place, actually. And I saw this girl. I went up to her, and I just started opening conversation. I was who I was in the UK at the time, because I think the UK is behind Canada and America. And then every other region of the world catches up behind the UK. Like it almost like falls down, so to speak, which is an apology I got to give in a minute. Okay, I'll remind myself. But I went up to this girl and I was excitable. I was high energy. I was very, you know, we had stuff like Geordie Shore at the time, and it was all about like like expressions and stuff like that. These guys were super excitable, high energy. And she was kind of like laughing, a little bit put off, like standing back like that, wide-eyed. And in the end, she walked away, and this guy came over to me, and he was like, dude, you need to relax, man. He was like, you're too thirsty. He was like, you just need to show her no attention. And I was like, how's that going to work? And then the UK really caught up with that shit. And now we've got the exact same thing that I saw out there, where it's like, to be interested, you've got to show that you're not interested for as long as possible until she catches feet. What a silly game.
Yeah. The UK caught up, which means it was not a thing that was normal. This is something that developed over the last couple of years. The reason why they're interested in you because you're not interested in them is to shot at their ego, right? This is all an ego trip and an ego play. Sounds miserable to me. I don't want to do that. This is something that developed. This isn't like, again, this is how he preaches it. Chris preaches it as if it's always been like this and this is just what you gotta do. It's like, no. I refuse to believe that this is it and this is all that we can be and all that we are. This happened. This is a spiritual problem where people started changing philosophically and spiritually and started becoming this way. It wasn't always like this. This is recent. This is fairly new. I don't even think this problem's 30 years old yet.
What a silly game. And like I said, I'm winning at this game. I know how to play it. I can be a cunt if need be. But that's horrible. Because then I hear stories of like Jack in Thailand and how, you know, him and Hamza were talking about the women and the conversations they were having and how down to earth they are. And you see some of these passport bros and you think, they're so fucking happy. They've got everything they ever need. And you look at the Tates in Romania, and I can see now.
Well, again, because they're finding women that don't want to compete with them. They're just women that genuinely want to be in a family and to love their husbands and to love their kids. Obviously, that's going to appeal to people. We need to go back to that, which means that a whole lot of men and women are going to start having to start humbling themselves if this is truly what they want. Because none of them are happy. You people aren't happy. No, I take that back. you're probably happy. Probably happy in the moment. When you guys go home and you have sex after you met at some delinquent location like a bar where the dregs of society go to gather, you're probably happy. You're not content. There's no joy. Those are not the same thing, by the way. Joy is a state of mind, whereas happiness is just a fleeting emotion that's just here one minute and gone the next. You probably are happy. You're just not joyful. You're not content. It's not going to be good enough.
Why they moved out there. And I actually want to give an apology to, and I guess the Tates would be in that bracket, but the kind of like American content creators. I always thought they were making a lot of videos to shit on women, which I still think there's an element of that, but I will say that it's becoming as bad here now as it was out there, or as it is out there. And if this is what they've been dealing with, now I can see the shit. I can see why they'd be the way they would be. You know, just these Cardi...
Yeah, I've seen this. And even some, like, you know, I don't want to get too specific, even some better locations, you know, locations that are better than bars, right? If you meet women that tend to be of higher caliber, they're all wanting to be big shot career women and stuff like that, which is not necessarily anything wrong with that. Again, if the Lord called you to be a big shot career woman that never had a husband, yeah, go for it. He's wiser than I am. He knows what you need better than you do, and what you need to do better than I do, and even better than you do. But a lot of them was just like, you know, I want to be this, and I have my whole career planned out, and I'm gonna get. It's like, yeah, but what about a family? Because women, like, one thing that is true that people don't like to accept, women are on a time clock. Like, they can't just have a career and then get a family later. They can't do that. They have to choose either it's the career or the family. Whereas a man can do that. Man has that advantage because he has an infinite amount of sperm cells that just constantly regenerate. And unfortunately, that's how it works. I don't know why God made it like that, but that's how it works. So they have to choose, and a lot of times they don't want to. They want to be a paramedic. Well, paramedic, that's a lot of work, you know? And if that's what you want to do, fine. If you feel like that's what the Lord's calling you to do, there's a lot of good you can do as a paramedic. You can help people. That's good. But you take like the amount of schooling it takes to get to that. You take the amount of years that you plan on working on that. You're going to be around 30 when you're done. You're pretty much at the point now where people aren't going to be as interested in marrying you necessarily. And you're not going to be as fertile as you were when you were younger. And I don't know why it's like that. Well, I sort of do. I haven't completely understood. I'm only just now coming to some sort of religious revelation, right? Where I'm starting to actually truly understand the character of God. But it is how it is. And yeah, that is how it has been kind of in America for a while, is that's what you kind of run into. And these people can be good people. Like, this isn't to slight them. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just that people have impressed upon them that they need to be in the workforce competing with man. That's the only way they can have value. God forbid they be some sort of, you know, helpmate or helpmeet, whatever you want to call it, to a man. God forbid that they do is what in the Bible where it says, wives submit to your husbands. God forbid I have to submit to my husband. I ain't doing that. I'm a strong, independent woman. You know, God forbid that. They don't want to do that. But they also forget that submission is literally how Christians get their strength. It's through humility. It's through submission. I submit. I have to submit to a God. I have to constantly do things that I don't necessarily prefer to do or wouldn't really do. And I sometimes have to not do things that I would rather do because I love God. And I obey him because he is my Lord. I have to submit. When my father needs help for something, or my mother needs help for something, that's a submission. That's humility. There is no weakness in submission unless it's to some sort of evil force. Submission itself is not the wrong thing. It's just what you're submitting to. If you're submitting to sin, and you're submitting to like lusts or drinking or something like that, obviously that's wrong. But just to submit to some sort of authority figure that God has placed over you, that's good. Because the wife is submitting to the husband, because the way marriage works is like this. So you have God and his people. Sometimes the people are referred to as his church, or just his people, or his nation, whatever. Lots of references through the Bible, whether you have Hosea, whatever, that describe God's people as his wife. So, in relation to God, we play the feminine role. The church does. We play the feminine role, we submit to God. Husbands are supposed to be the physical representation of God's role to the church. So the husband gets married to a wife, who the wife and the kids that he has with her become his church. He is prophet, priest, king. That is his 3 jobs towards this family. Right? He is supposed to represent the relationship between man and woman. Or he's supposed to represent the relationship between God, who is man, and then woman, who is the church. That's how you can have a really successful, good relationship. The problem is that people don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to submit. And here's the thing. Men are having to submit in their own way, too. I don't know if Chris necessarily would want to submit to a relationship that requires him to give up things that he'd rather have because he's got these big dreams that he's going on. What if God told him, what if he started a relationship with God, right? And God told him to give up the streaming platform and start a family. Could he do that? I don't know. That's submission. I had all these big ideas for certain books. I'm not writing them. I wanted to write Westerns. God's got me writing a space story. Not what I had in mind. But it's working fantastically because I submitted. So it's going to take everyone being a little bit more humble and stop turning us into a game where we just measure it just by what materialistic gain and pleasure we can get out of it. That's so lame.
B type clones, and yeah, it's not every woman, especially around here. Women aren't like that at all. But there's traits that overlap, and this is just a small town in England, and traits are starting to overlap, and people are starting to be that toxic. You know, everybody's scared to admit that they like somebody because it's like, oh, my friends will laugh at me. I don't want to be the chaser. I want to be the one being chased. And it's just ridiculous. It's just leading to this situation where people are in there like, for me as a man, it's fine, but there's a situation where women are in their 30s now and they're going, I'm still in my prime, I'm still in my prime, and they're getting super, super angry about it. And it's like, look, this isn't me or other men taking the piss out of you, ladies. We feel sorry for you to some extent. And, you know, that can be quite, you know, that can be quite patronizing. Oh, don't patronize us, that's disgusting. But I have to feel sorry for you because you've been fed lies. And Fresh and Fit, I've given them so much shit, but they've said this. And is it Myron or Byron? He makes so many good points along the way. I admire some of the stuff they say. There's just other issues that I've got a problem with. But, like I said, I apologize for that one thing because they've got it bad out there. America's a shit show. And he's made some really good points in the past. And I think he said Beyonce and all these other girls. They're always saying, oh, single ladies, go it alone. But they're all married. And then when Jay-Z was like, you know, I've cheated on you. Oh, I'll come back to you. I'll cry a little bit and I'll come back to you. I'll make some songs to the left. I'll still come back to you. You know, I'll make some angry songs, but I'll still be with you. And all these girls are being fed lies and they're getting to like their 30s, their 40s, whatever. And they're going, everyone just wants to fuck me and then leave me. This is horrible. This is disgusting. Or I'm not getting any looks anymore. I was lied to. I was told that, you know, big is beautiful. I was told that by the time I hit 35, I'll be in my female peak and the sex will be better than ever. You've got to remember, it's a small selection of women. Just like at 18, it might be a small selection of what people call Chads and Tyrones. It's a very small selection of those guys that are actually getting the women. Very small selection. And for the rest of the guys, there's a process. You have to put, like I did, you have to put in work, you have to get in shape, you have to get some points on the board, earn some money, get in shape, learn the game, start dating women, fuck up a few times, and then learn, oh, okay, I see how this works now. There's a process. And there's a process for women who are, you know, who are getting older. You have to stop the nights out, the shit food. You have to go to the gym 4, 5, 6 times a week. You have to, you know, be all about beauty maintenance and longevity. Otherwise, you will just fall to the wayside. And this isn't being explained. And when somebody like myself comes out and explains it in a very calm, calculated, logical manner, who is 30 years old, who's seeing this happen among society day by day, among people I went to school with who are that age. And then now they're getting worried about it. So I'm like, okay, this shit's real. And they're having discussions with me about it. And then under this video, or at least if this gets shared and put on TikTok and stuff like that, I will get nothing but shit. I'll get absolutely nothing but shit. And it will just be stupid, childish comments. But I'll get nothing but shit. And you're like, you need to stop. You need to take self-accountability. And you need to realize, shit, I might have been lied to. It's like, if I had said to you guys, the male advantage is coming, keep putting in the work. And then I kind of got to 30, didn't really hit it, none of you guys hit it, and I just took the money and ran. You would have been like, you motherfucker. He set us all up. 30's terrible. But that didn't happen. You know, we're all getting better. We're seeing results of this all the time. You know, we're thriving the older we get. But with women, they'll say it gets better with age. And then you see the ones who aren't married, the ones who don't have kids, it's problem after problem after problem. It's depression. It's, will I ever find somebody? It becomes the biggest, most important part of their life as it.
So, if it's really this big of a problem with them specifically, why are we promoting the other sex to continue to treat as many women like that as possible? Why are we encouraging people just to go out and just be promiscuous and just have sex with anyone? Like, we're part of the problem, right? If we're encouraging this, men are part of the problem. And both of us need to acknowledge that and get to work fixing the problem. Right?
It should, because it leads to family, it leads to children, it leads to all that stuff. As a man, it's the same with money. The closer you get to 30, if you're not successful, you start to panic. It's a little bit like, I just want to, you know, I want something now. I want to get some points on the board because nobody's going to take me seriously if I don't. And it's the same with women. They do have that body clock.
Jehovah Jireh, the Lord is my provider. Just put your trust in him, buddy. These materialistic things are only going to last you so long. You're not going to be able to take this with you to the afterlife.
Going on in their minds where it's just like, I need to get this ticked at some point. And do you know, the biggest thing that has awoken me to this year is the women that I've lost from having my degenerate mindset of the current world and the way that it operates. So I've trained my brain to be a toxic cunt. That's how I operate. Okay, like I said to you guys before, calm extrovert. I'm out, but I'm calm. I just don't treat women that well in terms of, you know, I'm not like, I'll treat.
I think the calm extrovert, unless you're naturally that way, I think the calm extrovert is, I don't think it's an effective means of creating a stable, good relationship with people in general. Sure, you might get some respect and people might look up to you to an extent, but I don't. It's not a way to connect with someone on a deeper level. I don't think it's effective, especially someone who literally was trying to be that. For years, I was trying to be the calm extrovert who just really didn't speak, was only spoke when he thought it was necessary. And I'm telling you guys, like, that's a miserable lifestyle. Sure, people might respond to that, but it's not the people you want to respond to that. The people who would respond to, like, what he described himself as, that he's trained himself to be, I don't want the people that would see that as a positive thing. I don't want to appeal to those people. I would rather have people that have, for one, some sort of hunger for Christ, or two, are also saved and on the same mission as I am and want to work together to achieve that goal of getting as many people saved and witnessing to as many people as possible. And we're just being genuinely good people. I want to appeal to genuinely good people. I don't want to like that. No offense to you, sir. You know, that's just not what I want. I don't think this is fruitful in the long run. It might be okay now.
Treat them well. I'll wine and dine. I'll take them out, and then I just ignore them or whatever. Even if there's no reason to, I'll do it just because it gets results. And it's like, that's disgusting, man. But like I said, it gets results. And at the end of the day, I'd probably rather have that than be that guy that's like, she rejected me, she turned me down, she ignored me. So it's like, this is the situation I got to. But there were some scenarios that
these aren't the only two options.
There's some scenarios that I got in this summer, basically. So I turned 30, And I said to myself, I was like,
I also want you to pay attention to like how he's saying it. He's phrasing both of those potential options as bad things. I hate to call cat in the hat, but there is a third option. Not murder. Murder's not the third option here. Just submit to God. It's clearly the hole you're trying to fill in the first place. So just build a relationship with him. It's better than any relationship you're going to build with any of these women or any of these people that you're trying to appeal to. That's the third option. All those other things you're trying to do is trying to fill that void, that God-sized void inside of you that they'll never fill.
I've turned 30, September's still boiling, this house gets hot as fucking summer because it's at the top. And I was like, I'm just going to go to London. I'm just going to enjoy myself, I'm going to date a lot, I'm going to fuck a lot. I'm going to have a few, nights out and whatever, take some girls back and whatever. It got out of hand. It was just threesomes and also, it got out of hand. That's not me bragging. Like I said, I'm not proud of it. It was fun at the time, but I'd never, as a 30-year-old man, I don't want to look at that and be like, guys, that's what you should strive for. So this is whose mouth it's coming from, okay?
Oh, okay. I mean, like what I said earlier, now he's saying it, so that's good.
Guy who's getting,
Progress.
good results. I don't want to dress it up to be, I don't want to sound like Dan Bilzerian or something crazy. But one of the girls that I was dating, she was, and this, I don't know why I've put this description together, but it sounds pretty fucking good. She was a 21-year-old Muslim virgin trainee doctor. How good does that sound? Do you know what I mean? 21 years old, okay, young and beautiful, and she was unbelievable. Beautiful face, beautiful body, everything, like head to toe. I was walking down the street with her, wherever it was, and it's just guy after guy after guy just staring, like they didn't know what to do, like that sort of thing. Yeah, she was unbelievable. A Muslim, obviously she's going to have great morals, evidently from the virgin part, and a trainee doctor, so she's got a brain, she's switched on, she's going places in life. This woman was quite frankly perfect. I remember when I met her, I was like, oh my god, from distance, I was like, don't go overboard. And this, I'll get to a point here, this will make sense. I was like, don't go overboard, just relax, just do it calmly, like she's just a normal another woman. And it just, I did just operate in that manner. But when we first kind of started texting, it was long texts. Like she would send me 2-3 paragraphs, and then that would be more and more and more, and she would answer every single question that I gave to her, and I would do the same back, and we got to know each other 100 times quicker. We were learning loads about each other, and that kind of connection just hit straight away because of that. And I was like, this is so cool, this is working so well. For you guys wondering where she was actually from, she was from Palestine, by the way. Lived in Dubai and then moved to London. Yeah, and before we met, like, I'd just gone viral on TikTok, and all these people were giving me shit. And the thing is, she was saying to me that's what she liked about me, that I was masculine, that I had these old school values. She was like, these women are running around and doing terrible stuff. She was like, I'm a virgin, I'm not going to go for a guy unless he's deadly serious, and I want to be with that one person forever. She was like, I love your masculine views, I love the old school thing. So the thing that Western women were hating.
So, like, again, this woman, despite the Muslim beliefs, I find that she's probably got some. I like this description, these pretty base descriptions, right? However, I just have to point out, it's like, sure, he does promote these kinds of classic masculine morals, but at the same time, that's the problem I have with Andrew Tate and Hamza and 1stMan. They promote these things, men being at the top, which is technically a biblical principle, and it is, I agree with, like, that, right? Men are at the head of the household, so all the problems, all the poop hits them first. That's how it works. They're supposed to protect the family and all this other stuff. But he's also promoting promiscuity and stuff like that just kind of conflict with that, don't you think? It's just not, it doesn't jive together. One of these is clearly the better option, and for some reason, the manosphere thinks that they can have both of these things. That they can preach family values and promiscuity at the same time. The answer is no. Family values are better 100% of the time. That is the God's honest truth.
Online, in person they were a little bit different, but online they were hating. She was loving. She was saying, that's what I actually love about you. I want to meet you because I think you're going to be a leader. And she wanted me to run the whole date. Where are we going? You know, where are you picking me up? Like that sort of thing. It was all on me. She just sat back, just you run it. So submissive. And like I said, the texts were long, etc. We had, you know, we hung out for the whole day, long eye contact conversations. And I was sat there at times, and it sounds weird, but I'm an honest guy. I was sat there, and I was literally, and Hamza mentioned this in his video, which reminded me, I was getting hard. I was literally sat there speaking with her, holding eye contact, and I was getting hard because I was like, this is an unbelievable woman. And for the first time since I was like a kid, you know, when you're 16, you hold hands with a girl at school, and you're like, it's going to be my wife, and you start having these Walter Mitty moments where you're picturing it. I was sat opposite this woman when we were having a conversation, and I was like, I'm anti-marriage, but fuck. I was like, I'd be very tempted to marry this woman. And I was thinking it's the type of woman you could travel with, you could show to your parents, etc. I was like, it's such a good woman. That was making me hard.
That's also my big problem with 1stMan, where we disagree the hardest, other than promiscuity. The whole anti-marriage thing. Now, I'm not saying just jump headfirst to a relationship and get married to that woman instantly, right? I just don't like the position of anti-marriage at all. Again, because marriage is a reflection of God's relationship with us. So I think marriage is a very beautiful thing, and I don't like the idea of someone being against marriage.
Because that's genuine attraction. I just let it happen. I'm not like some weirdo who's going to hide it. But, you know, it's just so organic. It was so natural. And, yeah, by the end of the day, it was like we were driving somewhere, and she was like, do you want to come and meet my friends tonight? Like, this is a first date, and she's going, do you want to come and meet my friends tonight? Do you want to, you know, she was talking about, okay, so what's your plan then? Are you going to move to London? You know, what's your plan moving forward? What are you doing with your business? Are you going to be more established? Is this going to be more concrete? Are you going to move to London? You're going to buy a house? What you doing? I need to know, because I don't want a guy who's fucking around. He's going to waste my time. She was already thinking on a first date, I like this guy, I've confirmed it. Are you here to fuck around, or do you actually want me? She was thinking about kids, marriage, settling down, getting a house together. Where are we going to live and all this shit? And I was like, I don't know what to think of this. Is this thirsty? Is this weird? Is this, you know, I didn't know what to think. And, you know, I didn't really act on it either. Like, I really wanted to kiss this girl, but because she was a virgin, I was like, I'm going to be respectful for the first time. Which, you know, she probably wanted me to be my natural masculine self.
I will give Chris credit, and like, again, this is one of the reasons I do respect him. Chris isn't just someone that is just blatantly immoral. He just thinks it's something you have to, and I do think that makes him a really interesting guy, but he also is a bit wishy-washy on things. But he is an interesting guy. Is that it is interesting to see these little moments of respect and morality and stuff like that. And he is respectful, and he does treat people with respect, and he has humbled himself, and he's helped strangers and all. When I see moments like this, yeah, I like that. That's cool. And like when he says here, you can't help but respect that. It's like, for the first time, I'm going to respect this. That's really cool. Just a little side comment.
To just grab her, kiss her, just pick her up, do whatever I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? But excluding the sex. That's probably what she was looking for. But because I'd met a real woman, a real old school feminine woman, I was kind of like, I'm confused here. So, you know, had a great day, said goodbye, whatever, dropped her off. It all went well, like it was ideal. And we were like planning to...
That's another thing. This whole dating game thing has made it where I myself am completely blind and not sure. It has made it where I don't even necessarily understand my own feelings, as opposed to what the logic in my head that I've trained myself to think dating is, right? They're conflicting opinions. There is a woman that, yeah, I won't get into it, but it has made me not even understand when it is that I actually do feel genuine affection and love for someone versus that girl is attractive, I'm gonna go talk to her, right? And I can see why he would have this kind of response, because they are very different things, and we can't just keep pretending they're on the same level. They're not. I'm sorry. One of these is better. In my opinion, what you're describing here sounds a lot better to me.
Meet up again. I got home and just kind of left it for like 2 weeks, because that's what you do in the UK. That's what you do with women. You don't reply because you don't want to seem thirsty. You don't want to seem like that guy who's too eager. And she's a real woman, like a real high-level woman that we all speak about, we all dream about, we all want in our life. What did she do? She blocked me. She blocked everything. She was like, well, he's not serious. That's clearly what she was thinking. This guy isn't serious. Like, he hasn't messaged me for 2 weeks. No, see ya. And
which honestly makes her better than most of the women that you're sleeping with, and I think you would agree with that. And I think that's the caliber of woman, you know, that you need to be shooting for, is someone that has that kind of morality. Maybe not specifically the Muslim one, but she sounds much better than the ones that you're describing. And that makes her seem more interesting to me, that she blocks you. She didn't play the Western American, Britain, Canadian game. She didn't play that game. A lot of women would probably call her weak for that. But she's not. That probably, honestly, I think one of the reasons it floored him as much as it is, because it probably made her the strongest woman he's met in a long time. I think she's stronger for it.
Clicked. I was like, she asked me to come and meet her friends. She wanted that validation that night from her friends to be like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Push forward with this guy. And like, because I was in such a degenerate mindset, and that same weekend, I'd fucked like 3 different girls, including my ex-girlfriend. I'm a nightmare. I'm a pig in that sense. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting. And that is how you guys know that this is legit. Because this isn't a guy moaning about...
Yeah, like, buddy, it doesn't have to be like this, though. I know I keep saying that, but... Chris, I genuinely mean this man to man. This doesn't have to be the lifestyle you live. This isn't the only option. This isn't the only way. I know you've been told and you've been impressed upon that this is the only way to get quote-unquote results, and this is the only way to find some sort of fulfillment. But it's not. This is not the only life you can live, Chris. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, you know, who is this 23-year-old kid talking to me when I'm 30 years old and I've gone through all this stuff and what have you. What I can tell you is that I am someone who has come from a very similar mindset as you, has thought very similar things, and have lived like similarly with similar morals and values over the last couple of years, and has had a revelation from Christ and have completely changed my life around and started abandoning some of the things that I thought I knew. And I can tell you that it's much better. It's so much better than this. This life is just hollow. Sure, you'll, like, as it says, you'll have all the stuff, the earthly things that you want, that the flesh desires. Sure, you're getting all of that, but I don't think you're happy. I just think you've convinced yourself that this is the only way to happiness, is if you just stubbornly keep doing it. And I have to disagree. It's not the only way. This is not the only life. There's a much better life out there.
A girl that got away. It somewhat is, but I'm not moaning. But I'd slept with 3 girls that same weekend who were all beautiful. And it's like, I just didn't understand what was going on when I met a real woman that actually had a real connection with. Yeah. Who actually wanted...
Like I said, 2 conflicting opinions inside your head, where you don't even understand your own feelings. So much, you understand them so little that you could have had feelings for someone else the whole time. You didn't even realize it because you had programmed yourself to only go after specific people in a specific, like, cookie cutter way, using these advanced war tactics to go on dates with people that you found attractive, and not realize, oh yeah, that's not actually affection and love I'm feeling. They're 2 completely conflicting things. And I bet you money, as he was doing all this that he's describing, he probably thought about her almost the entire time. The other lady, the Muslim girl.
For it to be quick. You know, let's talk more. Let's get to know each other. Come meet my friends. Come meet my family. Like, if you're serious about this, why are we wasting time and fucking around? I'm only getting older. And it's like, oh yeah, that's how it used to be. That's how easy it used to be for guys. But she was the opposite. Like, a guy not replying, a guy not getting back to her. Like, she said something like, I had such a lovely time, whatever. I was like, I'll ignore it. That's how I knew what it really was. And I waited like 2 weeks, like I said. And you just go, yeah, that would have worked in the UK. That would have worked with these modern women in the US and whatever, and how people are operating. Oh, he's not thirsty. That's good. He waited a little while. These women...
But not with genuine, loving, kind beautiful, and I don't mean just outside, I mean in women. It doesn't work
in the UK, US.
And those are the ones that I think men should be appealing to. They do not need to be getting body counts.
Gone, why hasn't he replied to me? Did I do something wrong on the date? And they would have panicked. Their anxiety would have gone up. They would have thought, oh, I should have probably just put out. I probably should have just fucked him. He probably thought I was weird because I didn't kiss him or something like that. You know, oh, maybe I should ring him now. Maybe I should fuck him next time I see him. And like this is how I know it, because that's pretty much how I've been doing it. That these girls get so worried that you don't like them that they'll put out. And they'll be like, oh, finally, like now he'll probably like me because I've given him what he wants. She was the opposite because she was so old school. She was like, if he doesn't get back to me quickly, he clearly isn't interested, moving on. Let's go and find somebody who is. And it clicked. I was like, the West is fucked. The West is really fucked. It's in a lot of trouble. And like this...
See, now this is one of the reasons I started to respond to this, because this is him, I think is him starting to slowly realize that we have gone terribly wrong in something. I don't think he quite understands the answer, but he does know there is a problem, and that is the first step to solving it.
This happened like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. I haven't spoken about it until now, because I've been having a good time. I just went straight back to who I was. I didn't really care. But here's the thing that's hit me lately. I've got a streaming platform that's being built as we speak. I'm filming all the projects for that. I'm gonna have a new job role. My life is going to change completely. I'm not going to be doing the stuff that I was doing before. And I'm like, okay, this is a real, legit, big business. I'm going to be making a lot of money off this. This is going to take my life up a few notches. I want to start traveling. I want to start enjoying my life. I want to start finding permanent homes. I want to travel, to different locations to film shoots and stuff like that. Then I start thinking, okay, I'm going to have, I'm getting to the age now where I want to start thinking about a long-term partner, family, kids, all that stuff. And you look around and you go, who the fuck is that? Where are you going to turn? Like, what's the best option? You're going to settle down with a woman that slept with 200 guys? Like, I just don't know how that works, because they're so different to that woman.
But at the same time, you yourself have been sleeping with a lot of women. So... Again, I get why. Again, I think this is his self-reflection moment. He's realized he's screwed up, and he's realized we're screwing up as a society. So, start looking for a different caliber of woman, a little bit like the one that you had before, that you were talking to.
Woman who was a virgin that I'd met, and she could have had any man in the world that she wanted, and she just didn't act like it, just didn't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, tied her hair up, put her glasses on, just walked around like nothing was happening, not trying to show off or stare, and just minding her own business, just holding eye contact, having a conversation. And you're like, that is the type of woman. And look, it's not like the one that got away and all that shit. There's going to be other women like her. They're around the world. But the point I'm making is I don't think moving forward in my life that exists.
He also disagrees with the premise of the one. I frankly agree and disagree with the premise of the one. Depends on what we're talking about. I do think the one technically exists. I do think God does bring people together and join them together as one, right? I think that can happen, but sometimes you could have been married to 2 people or 3 by the time your life ends because they died, or you guys divorced because she cheated or something like that. I think that can happen. I think you can have multiple ones, but I just don't like the idea that, oh, I'll just get another one later. There's always... It's like, if you really wanted a good one, you really want that kind of deep connection, again, submitting to the Lord, and then asking Him for His guidance on this, I think that'll bear you actual long-term result. That'll give you what you're looking for, isn't it? And if you don't mind me saying, that is what you're looking for.
Yeah. Now, will there be the odd diamond in the rough? Yeah, of course there will. There's always like one good woman and whatever. But I can see now why the Tates went out to Romania. I can really see that. I can see why the passport bros are going to all these different locations. I can see why the Tates were ready to go to Dubai. And all Dubai's got its issues too. But you're probably gonna find a different type of culture there. You are going to find women who have got, religious beliefs and they haven't slept with anybody and stuff like that. especially in the surrounding areas of the UAE. So, you know, I can see why these guys did it. It's really starting to resonate with me, and I think once this stream platform is built and I've got everything in place and I've got what I need, I'm probably going to spend a lot more time in Eastern Europe, in the UAE, in places like that, because I'm kind of disillusioned with it all. And this is coming from a guy who gets results, who's having the time of his life, who's having fun, but I don't like the way in which I'm doing it. I think it's disgusting. And I don't like the way that you have to do it to these women. You have to fuck with their head. It doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't...
Well, if you want me to be perfectly honest, he has come out before, Chris has, and said he was religious at one point. If he was Christian, that does mean that the Spirit of God, like, in some capacity, even if he's ignoring him and is no longer living in accordance to him, he's still there somewhere. And he could still be impressing upon him and giving him the knowledge to know that he is in the wrong here, no matter how loudly he screams over his voice.
Doesn't feel fair. It's almost like I tricked you into sleeping with me. I tricked you. I manipulated you into becoming my girlfriend and
right there. I don't think I could have even put it better than what he just said.
Shit like that.
And here's the thing: you guys might think I'm just disagreeing with everything he's saying. Actually, if anything, I'm just affirming what he's saying, because so far, I think pretty much everything he's saying is correct, except for the defeatist attitude of what else can I do? You can do a lot.
I don't like it. I want it to be, you meet a woman, she finds you attractive, like Jack was describing in Thailand. I find you attractive. I want to come over and talk to you. I'm going to admire you. You know, we're going to get to know each other at an accelerated rate, because I'm not pretending and you're not pretending to be so aloof and, hey, whatever, I don't care. And she's like, well, I don't care either. Where the fuck is that ever gonna go? I've thought this so many times. Like, I'm super aloof and cold towards people. If a woman's the same, then how is anything ever gonna materialize? So somebody has to be the chaser. It used to be men, and it's slowly becoming women, because the whole Me Too thing happened, and we all went, okay, well, we won't go near you now then. We won't approach you. We just won't act as thirsty as we used to. We won't let you know our actual intentions. I like you. I think you're attractive. You know, would you like to go for a drink this weekend? Oh, super thirsty. This guy, how dare you approach me in the workplace? So guys just went, fuck it. We're not going to bother.
Yeah.
And we've got this crop of women.
I agree with that, but I don't think our response to it was necessarily the best. And there are better women out there. So just picking women at random, maybe go to better locations to find women. Church, library.
Now who are like, why does nobody approach me? Why does nobody come up to me? I'm getting less attention. I'm going to be alone forever.
It doesn't mean it's a foolproof plan either, because there could be crap women there too. Everybody's got somebody that's crap. But I think it would narrow the search down, right?
Fuck is going on? There's no good masculine men left who are confident enough to come and have a conversation. And that's why women have started approaching, and it's changed everything completely. But it's messed up the dynamic. It's really messed up the dynamic. And when you do get a taste of like Colombian women, or like Jack in Thailand, or you go out to Eastern Europe, or, you know, like I found like a woman who's Muslim and a virgin, and you go, wow, this is different. Oh my God, like this is what my dad had. This is what my granddad would have had. Like this is what men of yesteryear who had tons of options with women, this is what they had. So then you're able to get to know them and pick the best one and make the best decision and build something for the future, rather than everyone playing a character. And this is what I mean. I'm just getting, it's just leaving a bit of taste in my...
And again, like this is the kind of thing that you promoted, Chris. You literally did promote creating your character, right? I've seen a lot of your content over the years. I'm not some hater that's just like watching this video. This is like, I'm like a former fan. And I still like you. I don't dislike you or anything, but you did promote the creating your character so you can basically be like, it's a game. We turned it into a game, and you promoted creating a character, and now it's nice to see that you're starting to kind of like look away from that and that you don't really support that anymore. That's nice. That's good.
My mouth. And look, I'll be honest, I'll have a threesome, wake up in the morning and be like, what the fuck is this about? Like, she's got a boyfriend. Do you know what I mean? It's like, fuck, this girl on my left didn't even realize she's got a wedding ring on. You know, and you just think, fuck, what a weird situation we're in now. You know, you can have a massive argument with a woman and 5 minutes later you're smashing her back doors in. She's telling you she loves you and shit. Like, and that woman wasn't a one-off. There was a girl that I met in the UK who is quarter Pakistani. And I mean, this girl looked like an angel. She was beautiful. But she'd call me every 3-4 hours just to tell me what she was up to. She, like, if you wanted to say thirsty, it was her. But here's the thing, in hindsight, I'm like, she just was looking for a husband. And she was saying to me, she was like, I love your masculine views. I love all of the stuff online. Same thing again. And she said to me something once. She was like, are you talking to any other girls? And I was like, yeah, I am. She was like, well, I find that disgusting. And I was like, so you're not talking to any other guys? She was like, well, I've picked you. Like, you're the one I want to invest time into. Bearing in mind, we'd only known each other a week.
Yeah, again, this wasn't something that we've always done. This is something that started happening recently. Sure, society has gone through trends where we start doing this thing because society builds itself up on good morals and then degrades and falls, right? We've said this over and over again. We are now in the degrading station. We are on the verge of a fall.
But she was like, I've picked you. I want to invest time into you. I want to see what you're all about. I think there's a potential future with you. I want to see where it goes. And then she'd be like, so you keen on like marriage in the future and stuff like that? And my fucked up brain, because I've been involved in all this crap for so long, you know, the gaming of shit, I've been involved in it so long that my fucked up brain was like, this girl's on it. She's thirsty. There's too much for me. You know, I don't need that. She's too intense. But in reality, it's like, that's probably how a woman should be. I'm getting older.
And men should be
I'm
receptive
only beautiful
to that.
for a limited amount of time in terms of external beauty. You know, and... or at least at her best. And she's like, I want to settle down. I want to find somebody. I want to get married. I want to find a good man. I found one here. Are you fucking around? Like, why are we wasting time? When these women are virgins or when they have very few limited partners, that's the way they think. Is once they start, you know, going around the houses a bit and testing the waters, their brains just start thinking differently. Thinking differently in terms of like, I can have him tonight, him tomorrow, him the next day. You know, there's another 2 girls that I could throw into this bracket, but it's pretty much the same story. I could reveal what happened with them. I had a girl just briefly, like, the second time we had sex, she told me she loved me. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But in hindsight, I'm like, that's kind of beautiful. You know, now that I'm a bit older, looking back upon reflection, I'm like, that's actually kind of beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And, you're like, that's how it used
Sounds miserable.
to be back in the day. My mum and dad's era and everything. You're like, we've lost all that. And I'm not telling you guys to go and do it, because you will get fucked on. You'll get shat on. You'll get laughed at. Your results will be terrible.
So what? We're not here for numbers. We're not here for quantity. We're here for that one time that we actually do strike pay dirt and strike gold. Right? That's all I care about. I want the one time it actually works out despite all the failures that came before. Not how many mild successes I can build up.
You'll be the simp nice guy.
Because let me tell you something. This one time I'll strike pay dirt, that's going to be more successful than all of your failed relationships or whatever you want to call them combined. You might not see it that way because you think in terms of results and what you can gain and materialistic things you can measure, and I'm not. But that is the truth. I want to have something that's more beautiful than just this. Like, I don't even think you can tell me how many women you have been with. And you're being drained. This ain't fun anymore. You're not having a good time. Whereas if you had just picked one that loved you and was loving and was a good woman, this would have been so much better. But you didn't do that because in your mind you think this is the only way to live the lifestyle.
And it's like, that sucks. It's so backwards. It's like the most beautiful thing that everyone's chasing, and we're somehow pushing it away because our egos are too big. I find that weird. Like I said, there was another girl, it's a similar story. Like, she was a virgin, she's the worst kisser ever, but I found that attractive because I was like, it means you got zero experience. Do you know what I mean? And like at the time I was like, it's terrible, but in hindsight, that's actually really attractive. And like I said, this is from a guy who's getting results, who is in the top 1% in multiple areas of life. You know, 6'2", jacked, successful, wealthy. ambitious, moving forward in life, you know, articulate, caring, empathetic, you know, looks after his family. Just like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but you go, oh mate, you should be celebrating. You should be having the time of your life. And it's like, but it's not actually that fun. It's kind of, it's just degeneracy. Do you know what I mean? And it's a strange one. And one thing I want to talk about, and I don't think anybody who knows her will be watching this, but I want to talk about my ex-girlfriend. So when I met my ex, she was all about me. She was obsessed with me. She wanted to see me all the time. One thing that I loved about her, when we were getting to know each other, she would send me massive texts, and I would send her back the same thing, which goes against every rule in the book. You know, you got to keep it short. You know, you don't want to act too thirsty. Oh, it's too much. He sent 2 paragraphs. But she did that. She sent massive paragraphs. Well, guess what? We got to know each other quicker. And it became an effective strategy because I was like, oh, I actually like this woman. You know, and at the time I was kind of dating somebody else and I kind of liked her more. And look, she was Bengali as well, this other girl. So like, there's a trend here in my life. The best women I've met don't seem to be, you know, Western. And the girl that I ended up having a 4-year relationship with, she was Caribbean Indian. So, you know, there's a lot of that, those same traits there too. And she'd had like 3 sexual partners before me. And, you know, she was sending me massive texts. Like I said, we got on really well. When we hung out, like, we were just honest with each other. Like, nobody was hiding shit and stuff like that. And it ends up forming into a 4-year relationship. And she was all about me. She was obsessed with me. She would help me out on everything. She would, you know, always compliment me and stuff like that. She was completely feminine. When we broke up, you know, there was a 2-year gap. And then, because of the scenario in which we broke up and we had a dog together, we'd meet up now and again. And then it got to a point where we were like, maybe we should try this again. Let's see what happens. The second time around, and I love this woman to pieces. I never want to say anything bad. But it was different. It was so different. She wasn't all about me. She had other options and let me know. Whereas before it was like, fuck everyone. Everyone's cut off. I don't want anybody but you. But she had other options and she was letting me know about it. She was like, oh, I'm seeing 3 guys at the moment, and like laughed about it, made a joke. That she wouldn't have done that old her. Even if she was saying it to make me jealous, it's like, that sucks to hear that from a woman that you were in love with for 4 years. You know, and her behaviors were different. The way that, you know, she hated nights out before. She'd never been drunk in her life, but since we broke up, she'd gone out and got drunk a lot. She'd been going out all the time, meeting all these different people. You know, I imagine getting fucked a lot. I imagine, right, it doesn't hurt me to say that.
This is what happens when you promote degeneracy. This is the kind of people you attract.
A beautiful woman with a perfect body. Like, I assume she's going to be meeting some high-level guys. And, you know, like, trying to rub things in my face. Like, I know a guy who's got a real penthouse. She never would have said that before. You know, or saying, or, like I said to her, I was like, at one point, I was like, look, quit your job. I'll pay for everything. Let's try and do the family thing. Because I was like, you've got the strongest connection of any woman that I've ever met. That, like, between us two, like, it's been the best it's been between me and any woman. Like, we didn't break up for any real reason other than I just wanted to go and focus on success. I've got it now. Quit your job, retire. Because of this whole boss bitch thing, she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I still want my own money. I still want my own job. Fair enough, right? It's your life, it's your opinion. 20, 30 years ago, a woman would have gone, yes, thank you. Fuck me, what a great man. Thank you so much. If I went to Eastern Europe and did the same thing, you know, if I went to Colombia, did the same thing, or if I went to somewhere in the UAE and did the same thing, the woman would be like, hell yeah. She probably wouldn't say hell, but she'd be like, yeah, let's do this. That sounds amazing. I'm happy to be at home all day looking after our children. That's where I see my value. And even if she doesn't want to do that, you know, not to be straight away like, I need my own money, I need to take care of myself. That's not you talking though. And this is what's annoying. That's not her talking. Because when I first met her, she would have done that. But as soon as you get into the working world, you become a corporate woman. And you get brainwashed into thinking you need your own money, you need to climb that ladder, you need to... And it's like, men don't find that attractive. A woman could be worth 10 million. I don't really care. I'll congratulate her in an entrepreneurial sense. You've got talent. Well done. I really respect you because I know what it took. But in terms of attraction, settling down, I've got no interest. If it's just about the money, And even if she's beautiful and she's got everything I ever wanted in a woman, but she's always busy, that puts me off as a man. Because I'm like, I don't need that. I'm the busy one. We don't need two masculine roles. I might as well be gay if I'm going to do that. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm sorry, that was funny.
it's just strange. I'm like, why would you want to fulfill our role? And it's the same with the Hollywood remakes, all female cast and masculine films. It's like, what is this? It's just fucking up absolutely everything that we have. And to see a change.
And both sexes are to blame.
Yeah, that really hurt me to the core, because to see a change in a woman.
We took God out. We took him out as the foundation. And we started acting on our own accord, seeing what we could get to benefit us. That's what we started doing. That's why everything is now wrong.
That I was in love with for 4 years. And to see that change in the blink of an eye, within a year or two, and now she's one of these independent, I'll go out, make my own money, nobody needs to provide for me. I'm seeing, include me in that bracket, because obviously we just met up and whatever, for different reasons, but we were meeting up and then we did fuck. Well, she was seeing 4 guys at once, technically. One guy's taking her on holiday, one guy's bringing her down here to the Cotswolds, right? It's like, fuck, who am I? Some, like, stupid simp? Like, obviously I'm not going to entertain that. And it was sad, because I was like, that same woman used to be so anti all of that. She'd never go out, she'd never drink, she hated the thought of going on nights out. She was like, it's just disgusting, it's just bummy drunk people falling all over the place. And this is what society's done to people. And yeah, look, I don't think women should be in the house, locked up, just, with no life. When you see Tate say stuff like, your woman shouldn't even be going out without you, I'm not for that. Because my dad used to do that to my mum, so I'm very anti that. I think if a woman wants to go out, enjoy her life, so I'm not one of those guys. Like, go out with your friends, enjoy yourself.
Honestly, I kind of disagree. I don't think either person in the relationship needs to be going out unless the other person is explicitly aware of where they are going. This is a relationship. We're supposed to trust and love one another and hold each other to a very high standard. I better know where you're going, and you better know where I'm going. And if we're going to be with someone of the opposite sex that's around our age, you should be concerned, and you should be with us for that. I actually think that's how it should go.
Have a good time. This isn't slavery. But if she's drunk...
It is. Oh, this is going to be controversial. I can't wait for this. Nightbreed Carlton Gant supports slavery. Yes. I am a slave to the Lord. The chains of my bondage of sin were set free, and now I have enslaved myself to the Lord. I am now enslaved to the chains of the Lord. Men and women are described in our relationship how it ought to be as being enslaved to one another. And that's another reason why I think a lot of people don't want to do this, is because they're afraid they'll lose some sort of independence. They don't see the beauty of humility and submission. We're supposed to enslave ourselves. We're supposed to surrender as Christ surrendered. That's the beauty of Christianity, is that it's death is life. There's strength in death. Being enslaved to someone that you love, and then being enslaved to you, and both of you being slaves to Christ together, is a beautiful thing. So,
drunk till like 4 in the morning, then I would be like, it's not the greatest of behavior, is it? Do you know what I mean? And I saw that change happen, and I just thought, oh, that's not ideal. That's what the world will do to people, modern women at the moment. It's sad. It's really, really sad, because...
So, we have like 20 minutes left. I would just have to ask Chris what his solution to the problem is going to be then. Like, how are we going to fix this? What do we do? Obviously, it's going to be up to God whether or not it's fixed, but we can put in some legwork to invite him in, right, to do his job. So, what are we going to do? Chris, what are you going to do about it? It's not like you can't do anything. One moment, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. I've got my bib on now, because baby breeds gotta eat. Carlton Gant's a hungry boy.
There's not many good ones in that sense left, and I think at some point when the stream platform's super established, I'm going to have to move. And it's pissing down with rain right now in the UK. The idea of being in the boiling hot sun somewhere with women with, you know, morals, with super like low body counts. Yes, say she's 21 years old, she's a virgin, got a body count of 1 maybe at most. Like, that is resonating with me a lot more, and not because of the body count, not because of the virginity thing. It's the mindset. This is what people need to understand. Is I've slept with, I've lost count, and it's definitely, it's a lot. I don't know if I want to say a number, but it's in the hundreds, and I'm not talking 100. I'm talking hundreds. Like, I've been on a lot of lads' holidays. I've done a lot of nights out over the years. I started having sex at 14. You do the maths, it's not that difficult.
So, I would encourage both sexes to have a low body count. I don't like the hypocrisy of the manosphere. Manosphere has done a lot of good for men, but I don't like the hypocrisy that men can have as many women as they want. But women have to, like, what makes them attractive is that they can just be virgins and not have as many. It's like, yeah, or both of you can calm down and keep it in your pants.
Difficult to add up. And the one big difference I've seen is the lower the body count of the woman, the more available she is to settling down, having a relationship, becoming attached to you. If she slept with like 20, 30 guys, forget about it. It's so difficult. Because everything's a red flag, because she's got such prior scars and prior history with other guys. It's like, he hurt me, you're gonna do the same. I've got to deal with all of his shit and his shit and his shit and his shit and his shit. Oh, he just slept with me and ran, so now she's cautious about that. And you've got to deal with so many past traumas, you know, and so many one night stands that it's like, is it even worth the drama? And they're super confused. It's not, I know what I want. I want a husband. I want to settle down. I want to have kids. Simple. It's become overcomplicated.
Now, Chris. Okay. You're saying all this stuff and you feel sorry for it and stuff, but at the same time, this is the kind of lifestyle you're encouraging people to live. These are the results you're talking about. This is what it's doing to the women on the other side of this. This is how it's making them feel. I've got scars because of one night stands and all that. Isn't that what you're encouraging by... You said you slept with hundreds of women? How many of them do you think fall into that category? Who are now having a hard time getting into other relationships with people because of the one-night stands they've had with you? Like, again, we can't just keep promoting this lifestyle and then saying this on the back of it, where women need to keep a low body count. Like, it's one thing to be hypocritical, right? That's not quite what I'm getting at. The hypocrisy's obvious, and that's the obvious thing you can criticize. But let's also point this out. It's not even the hypocrisy I'm criticizing. It's the fact that you guys are the ones causing the problem in the first place. I want these women to have low body counts. So you go and sleep with as many of them as possible, adding to their body count. This is not helping anybody. It's
got that
insanity.
narrative of, he cheated on me, I went online and read about it. What do I have to do now to become a boss bitch to get him back? Get your hair dyed, get a new blah blah blah, go on a hoe phase. So you've got all this wacky information, and then she's gone out there and lived it, and her brain is just fried. It's the first time in history women have slept with more than probably 2 guys in a lifetime. You know? Like, I was shocked. I had this conversation with my mum after Dad died, and she was like, well, your dad's the only man I ever slept with. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that never really crossed my mind. You know, it's your mum and dad. But I was like, God, that generation's cool. That's fucking amazing. Like, what a bond. No wonder you fucking miss him. Do you know what I mean? No wonder you're gutted that he's gone. He's the only guy you've ever slept with. Like, that hurts you to the core. That's such a bond of, like, I think it was like 25 years of marriage by the time they got divorced. But seeing that and seeing that connection, and then seeing these women now who, you know, they're asking, like, they're not asking for like Birkin bags and Ferraris and stuff like that. Some are, but you know, and that's why these American guys, that's why I do apologize, because a lot of your women are doing that and it's disgusting. But these women now, they want everything. And this is going to be in our Simp Society documentary where 5% of the guys are sleeping with all the women. And I definitely think that's true, because I was out recently and in a room full of maybe 100 guys, there was like 3 of us that were getting spoken to by women. That were getting results, that were getting numbers, like girls dancing on us, going home with girls, whatever. There was like 3 of us. And all these other guys, there was like groups of like 10 guys, like you would at a high school dance, all just popping moves together, just cutting shapes. No women around them for miles. Not even a hope in hell. And like I said, I'm an absolute degenerate. I'm in the club, I've got this woman dancing on me, she turns around, I'm holding eye contact. And guys, you've got to remember, I'm a body language expert. I did it for years, I've got certificates in it. I know when to do certain things, so do not do this. And I'm also a very big guy. I can get away with it. And I didn't do it aggressively, like I did it lightly, but I just grabbed this girl by the throat. And I did it the week before as well. And they go,
okay, I'm sorry. Comic Legend, if you were here now, I know for a fact that if you're saying this, you're laughing so hard right now. If you weren't expecting that like I was, because I just died. That I wasn't expecting him to say. I was like, oh yeah, he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her forward. It's like, yeah, women like that, right? Like a bit, grabbed her by the throat. I was like, oh my god, come here, baby. It's just like, I know he didn't do it aggressively. I don't think this one would choke somebody, but when he grabbed her random by the throat,
wide-eyed, and they love it. And I was like, let's go home. And I'm just like,
I don't know if I necessarily want somebody like that.
This is disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I am a degenerate. I know this game inside out. But at the same time, I was like, how the fuck has that worked? That's disgusting. But that's the point it's got to now. Where it's just like, oh, he's done something out of the norm. This guy must be the alpha in the room. It's just like, your brain is fucked. Your brain is really fucked. Like, why is that the thing that's done it for you? Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just all a game. I'm not massive about it. I'm actually... Yeah, I'm looking at these passport bros and I'm thinking, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in what you're doing. You're going to get a lot of shit online. Girls are going to say it's because you can't get women. Well, this is coming from a guy who's fucked more women than he'll ever need in a lifetime. All beautiful ones as well. Not all beautiful. When I was younger, they weren't, you know, the standard's been great lately. In the last, like, 2 years or so. It's coming from me, I think you guys are right. Okay? And I'm anti-marriage. Because financially, I think it fucks you. But...
It's not about how it benefits you. It's not the point. I mean, this is the problem. This is the mentality. Me do it. How it benefits me. Me. It's the problem that women have. It's the problem that men have. This is why we are screwed. Is because of this mentality. Well, apologize, Mike. I'm so sorry, Mike. There. Does that make you feel a lot better? I apologize, Mike.
With that being said, that woman who was 21 years old, she's a virgin. She's a trainee doctor. She's super intelligent. We're getting on the way we were. Well, yeah. Like, if that situation popped up and she was like, in order for this to continue, if we'd been dating a year, I need you to marry me, I would seriously consider that, guys. Because the way I see marriage, and I never really saw it before, is I've always said marriage is pointless. What is the point? Well, I'm right. Marriage is pointless in the modern era because you've got nothing to trade it with. Whereas you look at certain cultures, like...
It's not about materialism. It's not about what you can do for me. Think of marriage as a service. It's what we can do for each other in the name of the Lord, as service to the Lord. Everyone here in this situation is submitting something. All of us are not doing it as a trade-off. This is not a business transaction. We are doing it because I love you and want to serve you and have a family with you that I will also serve and protect. Right? And both of us want to serve the Lord together. That's why we're getting married. That's what I want. That's what you should be wanting. But you're treating it like it's a business transaction. How can we benefit each other? That's not the same thing. That's still... This mentality, to its extreme, is what has put modern Western dating into such a degree that it is, to the degree that it's draining you. You might not understand that, but it is what happened. We all got greedy. We all treated it like a game, a numbers game. Because we're thinking in terms like you're thinking about marriage. Marriage is not a business transaction it is not a business agreement. It's so much more than that.
Look at, and I know there's multiple Indian cultures, but I look at Indian cultures, a lot of guys I used to work with, they have dowries, and you're giving a set amount of money to the family in exchange for the daughter. And it's usually the daughter's virginity, the daughter's hand in marriage for the rest of your life. You know, you can have kids with this beautiful woman. Like, that's what you're getting. Okay, the daughter is almost a bargaining chip in certain parts of the world. We can sell our daughter for X amount, you know, so we can get ourselves out of poverty if somebody wants to marry her. What are they selling? They're selling the daughter, her beauty, etc., but they're also selling her virginity. That's what the guy's getting. And as a man who's 30 years old, who's seen it all, done it all, fucking everything you could ever imagine, right? I've been around the world, etc. Girls from every different race, girls from different countries, different colours, just whatever you imagine, right? I've probably done it. And I look and I'm like, I wouldn't marry any of you. But if a girl was a virgin, well, I would trade that in. Do you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. I'm trading my money, my success, my assets, everything for what? A girl with a body count of 30, 40? Probably not. Right? With a lot of problems, prior scars, trauma, etc. But would I trade it in for a woman who's a beautiful young virgin who isn't scarred, who loves me for me, you know, who wants all the things moving forward, who wants to stay loyal, whose brain isn't confused and fucked up, because dick confuses people, it ruins dreams. I can tell you that from experience. I've fucked up a lot of future marriages myself. You know, I've messed up a lot of girls' heads myself, so I apologize for that. But what would I rather? I would rather the scenario of the 21-year-old virgin.
See, now he's saying what I've been saying, right? Now he is getting to the point where he's saying, like, I have been to blame. A lot of these scars and stuff like that I feel sorry for all these women for have been caused by people like me, and I prefer this other thing. You can always stop. There is no point of no return. Nothing you've done is going to keep God's forgiveness and grace and mercy from you, right? You can stop right now and just live a better life. Right now. You don't have to do this.
Who, you know, was very... I know she's not going to cheat. I know she's not going to cheat. I know she's going to be an unbelievable mother. I know that woman's going to have great conversation to the day she dies. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a solid woman. And seeing that scenario play out in the last year of my life, I was like, wow, that's a massive game changer for me. Now, would I ever get married? I still have no idea. And I don't think there's any rush from me as a man. But if I did, it would be with a woman like that. I would have to be trading my money, my success, everything that I bring for something. Which in the UK, in America, whatever, almost impossible. Unless you find a nice Catholic girl. But even that, you know, some of these black Catholic girls, they have those sort of morals. But, you know, you look at passport bros, that's probably not the case in America anymore. So you'd probably have to go to like Eastern Europe, or you'd have to go to a Muslim country or something like that. Because you just think, where on earth are you going to find that otherwise? That's such a difficult thing to ask for now. You know, it makes sense. It just tears society down. It tears it to pieces. There's videos I was watching the other day. I shouted the guy out and I forgot his name now. But he was talking about if women are single and they're lonely, statistically they're the biggest spenders. And he was like, that's why a lot of this is being pushed. Broken families, stay single for longer. You know, follow the Cardi B route, all this shit. Because if a woman's single, she buys everything. The e-commerce side of it is massive. They'll spend money to deal with the trauma. And I've always said this about men. I've said if your testosterone is low and you feel like shit, you've got anxiety, whatever, you're probably going to spend money. You're probably going to buy shit. When people are depressed, their hormones are out of sync. Life isn't going the way it should be. You know, they've got all these problems. They spend money. And it's great for the economy. So it doesn't take a fucking genius to do 2 + 2 and realize what's going on here in the Western world and what's being promoted out. Okay? And this is from a guy who isn't religious. So I'm not some extremist who's lost his mind. I can just fucking see things clearly now.
I am. I'm not afraid to admit it either. Yeah, I'm extremist. Not blow up a building extremist. I'm just... Yeah, I'm the odd one. I'm the weird one. I'm the weird religious guy that thumps his Bible. That's me. Especially now. And it's just going to get worse. So if you didn't like it before, you're not going to like it now. Okay,
and it's sad. It is. It's just... it's really, really sad. And it's, like I said, it's being promoted out there. And you look at some of the happiest people in the world, okay? Let's say it's... there's a fitness guy. I don't know who he is. He's a former fighter or something. He's friends with Tate. The Strike It Rich guys. Or... Strike It Big, sorry. They interviewed him recently. He's a Muslim guy, jacked, bold, I think, driving a Bugatti in some of the videos. And look at his unit that he's got around him. A community. If you've got a community of people that love you, respect you, you know, you all look out for one another. You have that like village effect. And you're always there for each other. And you've got family gatherings, friend gatherings. You've got a...
Literally, like, just find like-minded people that are all Christ-like and want to serve Christ. There you go. That's the strongest unit you can find.
Beautiful wife who's never slept with anybody else but you. She's loyal to you. She loves you. She'd do anything for you. She'd back you forever. And you've got beautiful kids that you've raised the correct way in a home that's displaying that with a great community around you. What do you have to fear? You would have zero anxiety, zero depression. You've got everything. You've got your tribe. You've got your unit. This is what we're getting taken away from us now. We don't have tribes. We don't have communities. We don't have, you know, 50 people.
I agree with that. It's just every man for himself and woman for herself now. Just everyone on their own.
Around a fire.
It's just a bunch of strong, independent people being independent and not needing the other one. And then they wonder why, as a collective, society just denigrates.
Needs a fire table because I've got one. We sat around like a fire pit at night. You know, and just sharing stories, having a discussion, and everybody's got their unit. Like I remember with our family, it was beautiful. We'd, you know, meet up with friends, go to the neighbour's garden, all sit out, have a chat. Like I said, my mum had never slept with anybody but my dad. My neighbours, it was the same situation, and it was like, that's my wife, we're all here, we're enjoying ourselves. We got nothing to stress about. Everybody's happy, the kids are healthy. Like. That is being ripped away from us in the Western world.
Yep.
It's very, very sad.
And I'll tell you why. Because it's God's idea of marriage, and Satan wants to destroy that. He's wanting to get rid of that, and he's using his puppets to do it. Now, you might not believe that. Once again, I'm the religious freak. I'm the nut. I'm the freaking wacko, right? So I 100% believe it. That's why. That's why the family unit is being attacked so hard. That's why men and women don't want to take their place anymore where they should be taking their place. And both of them are to blame for this because it is a direct attack on the family. Same thing with the relationship between children and their parents, right? When you have the trans thing, don't approach your parents with this thing. We'll help you get your transition. You won't even have to tell your parents. All the crap like that. It's an attack on the family itself and what the family means. Men, women, children all have a place in the body of Christ, and he's trying to attack that. Like, Chris, like, again, this isn't like even a video criticizing him, not necessarily. This is a video just affirming and confirming and giving him the answer he's missing because he's on the right track. He gets it. He just doesn't have the answer yet, but he's really close. And he's like, a lot of the things he's saying are spot on and are unfortunate truths that we do see around us in modern pagan society.
And here's the closing message, guys, because I've got to go, okay? I've got, my friend's got one of the white-collar boxing events that he's doing, so I've got to go and pick up a friend, drive down to Bristol, if anybody knows where that is, and we've got to go and watch it. I would love to do it myself, but if I'm going to do it with my audience size, I want to get paid. So I would do it on my streaming platform. I might take a fight very soon, because I'm getting very good now, and I'd like to do it. I think it's something that every man should do. But my closing kind of statement to you guys is, I think that you guys need to stop worrying about what I did wrong. Was I too thirsty, etc. And I'm reading this out, by the way, and realize it's her fault for being like that. At the end of the day, if you want results in the UK, you've got to go out.
I think you should stop worrying about it, true, but you should also don't like develop anxiety about it. I think men and women just need to humble themselves and realize both of them are screwing up, and we've all been looking at this the wrong way. That's the answer.
And then do what I do, okay? You've got no other choice. Otherwise, you'll be the nice guy simp. You'll get laid, and then nothing of substance will come of it. That's the problem. But if you want something purposeful, the eagerness to meet up and build something quickly is beautiful, and it shouldn't be torn down. And that's a message I want to leave you guys with, because
You know what? I like that. I'm not even gonna lie. That last part right there, I like that. That there's nothing wrong, even though that he himself is anti-marriage and all this other stuff. He understands the beauty of that kind of relationship and doesn't want it ripped away by society, like it's currently being. That's cool. I actually really like that.
so many guys are like evaluating, what did I do wrong? Why didn't she respond? Why? Because she's a fucking degenerate just like me. All of us are. We've all got this mindset now of, oh, he's too thirsty. He actually wanted to meet. Fuck is wrong with that?
See, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably 1stMan's actual best video, and I mean that. I actually genuinely believe this is one of the best, if not the best video he's ever made. And I think this is because this is the moment where he starts realizing there's something very wrong with how he's been acting and how everyone has been acting. And you can't solve a problem until you start acknowledging these things. I hope he starts figuring things out, and I hope he actually does get everything fixed and figured out. Because I do genuinely want to see this man succeed in more than just materialistic things. I think this dude could be like the fiercest advocate for Christ like ever. This dude would be a firecracker. He'd be insane. But it's up to him. By the way, you know, it's open. You can come in anytime you like. We're not picky. Yeah, some of us are picky because we're stupid. We don't understand what grace is, but grace is available to everyone. You want in? Come get it.
He actually wanted me. I said no, I rejected him. Like, she takes pride in that. Lady, you're 32 years old. What do you mean you rejected a guy? You should be going, please show up at my door now. And, you know, the response I hear is, oh, well, women have got higher standards now. They're not settling for less. That's great if you can actually achieve those higher standards. I've always had high standards. I just couldn't attract the women I wanted. Now I can. But for a lot of you women, you can't attract a Michael B. Jordan. You can't attract a Chris Hemsworth. Okay, you can't attract a guy who's, you know, multi-millionaire, 6 foot plus, doing well for it. So you don't have that option, but society's driven it into your head that you deserve a man like that. It's like, but everybody doesn't. But guess what? It sells Beyonce's albums. It sells Cardi B tickets at a show. And this is what it, you know, it sells a Lululemon t-shirt. And this is what it does. It sells Gymshark leggings. Gymshark is a men's company. Gymshark is very masculine as well. It was always a men's company. What do they have on the website now? Nothing but leggings. Because they realise, fuck, that's where the money is. All these single, lonely women trying to get in shape. That's where the money is. You know, fashion conscious, going to the gym, worried about all this stuff. It's all an e-commerce drive. And it's tricking you. You know, if I were a woman, I would be fucking 20, 21 years old. I wouldn't do it too young because I'd want to know who I was. I'd want to figure my mind out. But I'd be a 21-year-old virgin. I would find the highest level guy. I would keep myself in shape. I would focus purely on that sort of stuff. And I would settle down. I'd get married, have kids. If he cheated, whatever, you know, came of that, whatnot, I'd know that I'd done my job.
See, so why don't you advocate for men to act like the man that woman would want? That's why I just don't understand. Why don't you advocate? Like, I don't want to be a player pimp, right? I don't think we should be advocating for men to act like that. I prefer a more just Christ-like soldier knight kind of mentality, as opposed to the pimp that Hamza and Tate and 1stMan encourage you to act like. That's not real. That's not a real man. A real man replicates and has like Christ and has the fruits of the Spirit. Not can have sex with as many women as possible. And here's the thing, one of the reasons I made this video is because I felt like Chris, and specifically, this isn't to be harsh towards him, I feel like Chris specifically is open to this kind of message. Whether or not he sees this video, I don't know. That's his business. I feel like he's open to this kind of message, and he's not afraid of criticism from me. He doesn't even know who I am. So, I'm saying this out of like love for him and his content, that I feel like he is receptive to it, where he's at least showing signs that he is beginning to be receptive to it, and there's hope there.
I did the right thing, but I would make, because my brain wouldn't be fucked up, I would make a calculated decision about the best possible man, and I'd be able to judge that. and I would be thirsty towards the one that I actually liked, because I would realize the benefit and the power of having a high level man that's going to stick with you forever. I would realize that. I'd be like, okay, when I'm 40 years old and I won't look like this anymore, at least I'm going to be solid. At least I'm going to be protected. At least I'm going to be secure. Okay, because nobody wants to be a 40, 50-year-old woman that doesn't look good anymore, you know, trying to pay all her bills herself, independent mum and all this shit. Like, it just, like, well done for doing it. There's a lot of scenarios where it wasn't your fault, but fuck, is it rough. It's rough. Like, it's not nice. So, I just don't really see the benefit of that. So if you're a guy out there right now and you're going, shit, I was a little bit too thirsty, almost take pride in that. Because you actually want to get married. You actually want to settle down. You actually want to have kids, build a family, create something of substance. You don't want to be like me, a degenerate that's going around just fucking, you know, 3-4 different women a week. Like, you are actually, you know, trying to find something beautiful. And please retain.
I like this. This is why I think this is one of his best videos, because he's starting to realize what's wrong with his mentality, and he's encouraging people to do the opposite of what he's been doing. That takes some humility to admit this, but the problem is that he thinks that he can't be different. No, you can't be different, Chris. You can recover from this. It might take some work, you know, or it might take some humility into some self-sacrifice and that kind of thing. But you can absolutely, in Christ, be a completely different person that does not live this life that drains you and makes you feel like crap. It's open to you. All you have to do is just believe in Christ and just accept him as the Lord of your life. You start doing things like that and you start embracing him and chasing after him, you're going to become a completely different person. I promise you.
That, because I don't know if I've lost that or not. I used to be a real happy, smiley guy. You know, I used to be I'm still, you know, I've still got that within me. I'm not saying I'm always moody, but I used to be a lot happier. I used to, you know, approach women with a smile on my face, you know, all playful, having a good time. None of that's really there anymore. You know, you go through a lot of things in life and it breaks you down, and you rebuild yourself back up and you become a lot more stoic. And I don't know whether that's a good thing. But if you guys out there still got that element of Disney in you and you still think that, you know, there's hope, retain an element of it. And just know, like here's the thing. If you want results, don't do any of that fucking shit. But if you want to find something with longevity, something that long term, you'll go, glad I waited. Michael B. Jordan, they all called him corny. Look at him now. You know, sometimes just sticking to your guns can be the best strategy. If you want to get results, you want to sleep around, hey, come to me, I'll show you how to do it. But even I'm at that point now where I'm like, I'm getting sick of this. I want to find a real high-level woman of substance. Maybe a Muslim woman, maybe a woman from Eastern Europe who's only slept with one guy maximum, you know, 2 guys maximum, something like that. It's just, they put value on their beauty. They put value on their low body counts. They put value on things like virginity. It's, at the end of the day, like, I will never get married unless I can exchange that for virginity. It just seems nuts otherwise. I'm like, what am I getting in return that I couldn't get elsewhere if I stayed single? Marriage would be pointless, right? One thing I've been doing lately, I've been meditating. I've got loads of olive trees on the patio as well. Well, I say loads too, but I'm getting loads of more plants coming on the patio. I've been doing stuff like that, just focusing on, like, cultivating my olive trees. You know, meditating. I'm obviously working on bigger business and stream platform and shit like that as well.
If you want me to be honest, what you're describing to me sounds like you finally were quiet enough that God could actually speak to you. If you want me to be completely honest. Because again, if this guy was religious before, that means God has actually established contact, and now his, you know, his spirit in some capacity dwells in him or around him. So, I think there's a possibility that this is an impression from him. And honestly, I pray that's what's happening. In fact, you know, right now, Lord Jesus, I ask that you touch Chris and you help him to fully understand your will for his life, and you help him to learn to set himself aside and to be more like you. In Jesus' name, amen. Right? There you go. Did it right on stream, like the religious freak that I am. I hope that happens. Because I want a guy like this on our side. I think if he had, like, a completely just if he just kept this kind of passion, go-getter attitude, but for Christ, boy, this guy'd be a sledgehammer. This guy'd be insane.
But, you know, I'm focusing on other things, like deep conversations with people, you know, spending time with people that I genuinely feel like who can improve me. And I'm trying to de-pollute my mind, because if I'm going to be missing out on women as great as the one I described, you know, which is every man's kind of fucking dream, I've put myself in a top-level man position, and when a top-level woman like that came along, I couldn't notice it, because my brain's so fucked up from everything that's happened in the past, you know, and the way my strategies are different, the way I'm going to wait 2 weeks to reply, it's just like, it's the dumbest thing ever. She wanted me to meet her friends that night. So I'm trying to retrain my brain. We're going out to Thailand soon to see Jack for a bunch of shoots. I want to see what it's like out there. And then I want to do a tour of the UAE. Then I want to do Latin America. I just want to see these different cultures. I want to do Eastern Europe too. I might just keep this place, but just do like a couple months in different areas. Just like I said, the kind of the Mr. International. I want to have like 5 different bases. I just want to see what it's like. Because I'm getting disillusioned with it all, even though I'm getting results. But that's it from me, guys. I hope that video was informative. There was a real from the core video from me. You guys never see me like kind of, I don't know if I'd use the word vulnerable, but that raw, probably that open, that raw.
Yeah.
You know, there was more emotion in that than just here's what you should do.
That's why I think it's like, I think this is Chris's best video.
Get on with it. That's my job at the end of the day. I'm a self-improvement guy. There's a problem, I find a solution for it. With this, though, I just looking for the future. I'm a 30-year-old man. I want more moving forwards. I'm getting sick of a lot of this shit. Do you know what I mean? If I'm going to be owning a streaming platform, if it's going to be this major global business that I think it's going to be, if I've got all this shit to offer, I want it to go to somebody who is super high level. And I think in order to find that, even though there are diamonds in the rough in the UK, in order to find that in popular numbers or in less vast numbers, it's not here. I don't think it's here. I've become so disillusioned with Western women. And like I said, this coming from a guy who's getting results. And he's still like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is weird. Like, the games you have to play. I have to almost lie. You know, a woman would be like, hey, do you want to meet up tonight? And I'm free. And I'm like, no, I'm busy. What? But then 2 weeks later, we'll be fucking. And it's like, if I had said yeah, she'd be like, oh, guy's a simp. He wanted to see me. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's weird. I just want it to be simple. I want it to be, you know, you meet a woman, she's like, I really want to come and see you. Yeah, come over. Okay. And you have a very deep conversation. Nobody's trying to play a character. Nobody's trying to hide anything. You end up really clicking and you're like, we could build something here. No games. You know, there's still going to be the odd masculine shit test and stuff like that. There's still going to be let's see, like, it's a woman's instinct to be like, let's test this man. Let's see how good he really is. But it's none of the bullshit that's surrounding it. It's not, I'm going to talk to you and then I'm going to go and talk to that other handsome guy over there to see how you react, to see if you're jealous. Certain levels of women, say in the UAE, Eastern Europe, whatever, they would never do that. Would never dream of that. They'd think it was disgusting to do something of that nature. And I just look at it all and I'm like, I'm very good at this fucking game. I just don't enjoy it. You know? There's sports people that have done that. They're like, oh, I'm fucking amazing at tennis.
Just play a different game.
Fucking hate tennis. Cricketers that have done that. They're like, the sport's for pussies, but fuck it. It pays me $1 million a year, so I'm just going to continue doing it. There's guys I'm sure don't like getting hit in the face, but they make money fighting because they're good at it. And I can be good at it and not like it. I know what to do. I taught you guys in the previous video of why I don't chase women. And it's still the same thing. I still believe in it. This is why I don't chase women, because I do believe they should chase me. But in these other cultures, if I went out to somewhere like Colombia and was strutting around at 6'2", 95 kilograms, but like 12% body fat right now, probably like 10 by the time summer comes around, if I decide to shoot out there, a net worth of millions, you've got hundreds of thousands in the bank, just because I invest so much in the business, I don't really have millions lying around. You've got your own stream platform, your own companies off the back of that. You know, you're an articulate, intelligent guy who's learned a bit of Spanish, who could learn Spanish quickly. You know, who's got good assets, who travels a lot. Like, I've got no problems in the penis area and stuff like that. And it's like, do you want to
Okay.
You know, do you want to settle down? Those women are going to be like, yes, straight away. They're going to be thirsty as fuck. Same in Thailand, same in many parts of the UAE. And people say, oh, religion will get in the way. I've found it does to some extent, but as long as you're willing to say, hey, look, I can provide financially. I'm willing to not be one of these UK degenerates sort of thing. You know, sometimes they want you to convert, which I've seriously considered. You know, going down the Islamic route. And I'm not religious, so I'd more like
Christianity all the way.
Pick up the cultural habits, but maybe not adopt the religion, because I think that side of it is.
Listen, no hate to Islam. I just don't believe Islam is like, you know, I don't think it's equivocal to my religion, right? That's it. I actually have respect for a lot more Islamic people than I do a lot of these secular kind of paganistic people, even though technically, in my view, they would be pagans too. But when it comes to like people like the communists and the SJWs and the liberals and those people, I have much more respect for the nation and the people of Islam than I do them, despite my huge, heavy disagreements with much of their philosophy. And much of also like their hatred towards the people of Israel, I obviously cannot tolerate. Those are God's chosen people. You have no right to want all of them dead. No, sorry. Can't get behind that and never will. However, these people do have some sort of religion and belief system that they try to stick to, and they're very dedicated to God, even if it's the wrong God. That makes them more respectable to me than these nihilists that are on the left, and some of them are on the right too, but mostly on the left. But at the same time, I just don't think Allah is God.
Really beautiful, whereas the other side, for me as a logical man, I need to see more evidence. You know, which I guess that's what religion's built on, belief, but for me it just seems a bit different. But the culture I'm in love with. I think it's beautiful. So I've seriously considered that, and I understand a lot more now what these Americans and what the Tates were going through and what they're talking about. You know, because it's different over in America, and the Tates were based there for a while. I can see why they went traveling and went, fuck this. I'd like to have a roundtable discussion with a lot of those guys. I'd like to see what they think. It's a weird one, guys.
To be honest with you, like I said, I don't know if you're ever going to see this, but I would actually like to talk to Chris. I think me and him could have an interesting conversation. He seems like someone that is as set in his ways, you know, stoic, stone cold, you know, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it kind of guy he is. He is also very inquisitive, I believe. So that means that he's actually somewhat open to other people's opinion and views, and will sit there and listen and hear people out, right? That's one of the reasons I do respect him, despite my heavy disagreements, despite the fact I don't really watch his content anymore. I just watched this one because the title intrigued me, and this is pretty much what I expected. So, yeah, Chris, I can set something up or whatever if you want to talk, because sometimes the self-improvement guys like to watch other people's content. I would like to have a conversation with this guy because I think I can have an interesting conversation, but that is up to him and God.
Wish you all best of luck. Like I said, if you want to get laid, I can show you how to do it in the Why I Don't Chase Women video. But if you feel the same as me with this shit, we've all got to send reports back here. We've got to be like, hey, I lived in this country and it was actually great. I went here and it was great. That's up to maybe somebody like me to do a bunch of traveling and then feedback to you guys, but I'm so disillusioned with it all. But I better shoot off. I gotta go and pick someone up. It's gonna be a good night. Hopefully my friend wins. If anybody drops out and they're my weight, we're going in. See you later, guys.
Whoa! Alright, this is a different video. So that was it. Pretty good video from him, actually. It shows some hope. It shows that he's actually been growing and developing, and that he's been really thinking about this really hard. And I think that's a cool thing to see how far he's come in his growth as a person. That's actually very encouraging for me. I actually like that a lot. I'm gonna close that down. Alright, so what do we do now? Just you and me alone, baby. What do we do? Because that was pretty much the only video I had planned, because it was like an hour long. Though when I don't have an entire panel to have a discussion with, no offense to you guys, Borgie, Paragon, Comic Legend, it does go by a lot faster because it's just me and Chris talking, it feels like, instead of me, Chris, and all four of them talking. And I don't have Discord anymore, so I can't really just, you know, pull them up like I could before. I also don't have Instagram or anything else. I am a social media-less person as of right now. I was thinking about playing some Battlefield 1. I guess I could do that. Even though I've like railed against video games in the past, there's a couple that I'm okay with playing, even though I'm probably not going to be playing any games this week because there's some stuff I want to spend some more time with the Lord and deepen my relationship with him. There's a couple of things I'm seeking him on. There's a couple of video games that I'm okay with playing. I hit my first round 50 in zombies, and I actually would like to make more zombies content. It's just that right now I'm not sure exactly how to go about doing that because, for one, again, I've only hit my first round 50 in Black Ops. Like, Black Ops Cold War doesn't count. I've hit 50s in that game twice. That doesn't count because Cold War's easy, right? I'm talking about actually hitting legitimate 50s in a legitimate zombies game. I was playing Ascension and got to round 50 for the first time, and I was like, just blown away. It was like so cool. So I like playing zombies. I don't know if you're allowed to play that one, like that's the masculine adult game to play. But one of the games that you can play, and I think you could be perfectly alright and not be considered some weirdo nerd, I think you can play Battlefield 1. Right? Battlefield 1, historical setting, Chad uniforms, Chad gameplay, all of it's cool. So like I'm a big history buff, and I like this specific era of time. So Battlefield 1 is a really cool game for me. It's addicting, and I'm probably going to cut back on video games next week. But I've always liked the game, but I've been like really fallen heavy into its gameplay recently. And I don't want to. This is my first gaming stream. I've never even done this before. So we're gonna see how this goes. This is just gonna be kind of us chilling at this point. I'm just gonna stream. From now on, this channel is gonna be really laid back, chill. I am doing business on other channels, doing other content that I do want to make actual... well, the content will not be making money. It's just going to be advertising content that I want to make money. The books I'm writing and stuff like that, like the sci-fi book that I mentioned. It's just right now... let's see here, what do I want to do? What do we want? Super recent. I want to go back to that one that I was in earlier. There you go. I'm not going to do any conquest because I'm trying to get specific weapons unlocked. I kind of like this kind of close quarters combat. Gets around 50s, 55 in BO zombies. You got like 7 hours? Because sometimes it takes that long. Unless I played it on Black Ops 3 where I just bought all of the most OP gumballs and hoped that it would actually get me to around 55. Could do that, but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not a... Like I said, I'm not like a zombies pro. I just find zombies fun, and it is satisfying to get that far. But I don't think I'm going to be that guy that gets to like what's his name? Steve? Like Steve, when he gets to like round 100 on every single zombies map or something like that. That's cool, but that's not me. I'm never going to get... I don't think I'm ever going to get to round 100 in like Shangri-La or something like that.
The enemy has armed objective butter.
Alright, so I'm trying to unlock a specific... specific melee weapon, so I'm having to use this knife to get it. Options. Let's turn some of this down just a little bit. Let's put it like right there. 30. Don't want to blow everyone away. I'm probably just gonna get executed. Alright.
We have defused objective butter.
Yes, I'm gonna be a little sneak that stabs people in the back as they walk through that door.
sent to our artillery.
Of course, this might be, again, I've never done a gaming stream before, so this might be a little trippy. It looks like it is lagging just a little bit. Let's be expected. Maybe I shouldn't play an online game. I don't know if I got that stable enough. Oh, I'm gonna take this off. So we said, why is my ADS not working? Maybe we shouldn't leave this one. Guys, let's not leave the door. Okay, see? That didn't work at all. Is the audio still loud?
The enemy has armed objective apples.
Let me take care of it just a second.
We have defused objective apples. Alright. Enemy coordinates have been sent to our artillery.
I think it's one of ours. Those are enemies. Oh, okay then. Should have went for that. I'm trying to unlock a specific weapon. So it causes me to do stupid things. Oh, oh, no, don't die. Don't die. Oh, he's gonna die, isn't he? He won't spawn here then. Running back to right. Come on. Oh, okay. That was a mistake. Actually, that time, if I had just waited for them and stabbed them in the back as they came in, I probably would have done better. Oh,
The
bad.
enemy has armed objective
Oh no.
apples.
Oh no. Boys, what are we doing? They've armed both objectives. Get out of my way, sir. Ow. Okay then. Well, that was terrible.
We have lost objective apples. We have defused objective butter. Enemy coordinates have been sent to our artillery.
Wow. That guy's a really good player. The way he just stood there and shot me. He's really freaking good at the game. I'm not a huge fan of Argon, but I guess we'll play it next. Hello, audience. Is it still loud? Hey. Best squad. I didn't get any kills on that. That's alright. We can get the next one. Nah. 47 seconds. I don't want to have that much of radio silence. Alright, let's look around here. What I'm trying to get is this. 50 kills. So I can get this funny looking knife, because I got to use it for another challenge. So I have to get kills with this funny looking knife. My problem is that it doesn't have a ton of damage. Probably shouldn't have ran through the barbed wire, but there we go.
We have taken objective apples.
No way I missed that many shots. Dan, I am terrible. There's no way I was that bad.
We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples.
Got a couple there. Not the best battlefield.
The
player,
enemy
right?
controls
Okay.
all objectives.
Come on, guys. Ready, better not. Whoa. Sometimes I'm not sure how people kill me. Like when I see it, it's like, yes, I understand that guy killed me, but I don't get how.
We have taken objective apples.
Did he die? Sorry, I got confused. Couldn't tell who was the enemy.
We have taken objective butter.
Everybody else's melee weapon's better than mine.
We have lost objective apples.
Still
We
trying
have
to,
taken objective Charlie.
still trying to get better at Battlefield. I'll get there. don't know why they just don't charge it. I think they could take it if they just charged it. Just being big babies.
We have taken objective apples.
Dang. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to get you killed. Whoa, okay.
We are losing objective
Okay,
Charlie.
so I'm gonna stop trying to snipe people with the Lewis gun. I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna try to go around.
The enemy controls all objectives.
Got you.
We have taken objective Charlie. We have taken objective butter. Halfway there, the enemy has the upper hand.
Alright, so again. Just keep getting him in the back. Hopefully nobody sees me. Yeah, I'm not really being a team player.
Return to the combat area.
Whoa. He got me? Okay. So you can just shoot me through a hill. It's those new FMJs I got.
We have taken objective apples. We have lost objective Charlie.
I don't know what my plan was, but I was doing it. Whoa! That's another thing about domination, man. It's chaotic. But I just play to get as many kills as possible because Conquest is like obviously the funnest game mode, but I'm just going for I'm trying to get certain things completed.
Return to the combat area.
Oh, he had the knife I'm trying to unlock. That's sort of funny though. He just comes running past me. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only guy on my team. You know what I mean? Yeah, get what That was a human kill.
We have taken objective butter.
Alright, that was pretty cool. I got him, he got me.
We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples. Return to the combat area.
A seems like the best one to actually sneak up on. Ooh, you're up. Where? Yeah. This is just... Good lord, man. Well, nope. Don't do that either. Oh, I thought I could beat him to the wall.
We have lost objective butter. We have lost objective Charlie. We are losing objective apples. We have lost objective apples. We have taken objective butter.
We'll get this challenge over with, so I'm a little eager. I'm prone to do something stupid when I'm eager.
control all objectives. We have lost objective apples.
Mexican shot me, boys. Let's go all the way back.
Return to the combat area.
After all, Carlton Gant is famous for stabbing people in the back.
We have lost objective Charlie.
That guy is a little too good. He's the one that keeps sniping us. Now he could just be like an insane pro, right? A little too good. Suspicious. I've already seen like lots of precedent for like on this. Ooh, I thought I could at least get one rocket. He shot me with a rocket gun. A little overkill. I had 5 health left.
We have taken objective apples.
You sir for revive. Yeah.
We control all objectives.
Wasn't expecting him to sprout out of the roses. That's alright. A couple more. 2 more. We're probably gonna lose, so just at least get a couple of solid stabberoos.
Return to the combat area. We have lost objective butter.
He pulled the Carlton Gant and shot me in the back. I thought if I just... Okay, I'm gonna stop making jokes about it now. They're just too easy to make. Or forget. I'm not... No, I thought I could jump on. Revive me. Give me one. Just a solitary one.
We have taken objective butter. We have lost objective Charlie.
It's just not the best knife in the world. That's the one I gotta use. Spawn in the middle of a firefight. I got one more though.
We have taken objective apples.
I mean, we're not letting them take the victory easy. I'll give them that.
We have lost objective butter.
Can I get him in the back? I can do it. Walk right up behind him. Right where he was. Probably not. There's a lot of chaos going on. Ah, I was like, where's his buddy?
We have lost objective Charlie.
That was fun. I will say, that knife's not like the best knife in the world. It's actually really fun to stab people with. Especially if you get the one animation where you punch him in the face with the brass knuckles. That was cool. Scoreboard. 16. 27 deaths. Seems like a good KD. I got tired of playing, I got tired of playing Conquest. Conquest is fun, but you can only play Conquest so many times before it's just, I don't want to play Conquest anymore. See right there where it says perform 35 kills with a trench flare. Can't get that until I finish this. How close are we to it? Was it 28? Is that what it said? There's another challenge I'm trying to do to get this one, so I can get this gun. 50 kills, 28% there. So I get guns with the Lewis guns. Impressive. Trench flare, 56. So we're over halfway there. We're almost there. Should I do zombies after this? Just a quick round of zombies. I always say that and I end up surviving like more than I intended, because you can't really have a quick round of zombies. You're in it to win it unless you play like
A pigeon has been located.
Alright boys, let's go get the bird, because I'm totally gonna play to get the bird.
Enemies picked up the pigeon. Return to the combat area. Return to the combat area. The enemy has released the pigeon. The pigeon has delivered the enemy's message. A pigeon has been located. Enemies picked up the pigeon. Enemies picked up the pigeon.
I'm probably should do something about that, but, alright, turn this corner right here. Or that one, you know. You choose the corner you want to turn. Yeah, we just went over the video. A little quicker than I expected. I expected to take longer because I'm used to having a panel of people, but I don't have a panel of people today.
The enemy has released the pigeon. The pigeon has delivered the enemy's message.
Don't play role play.
Enemies only have one more pigeon to deliver.
Alright, we need to at least get one. I'll actually contribute to
A
this.
pigeon has been located. Enemies picked up the pigeon.
No. Not
We have picked up the pigeon.
Whoa! Dude, the dust. Did you see that? The
Enemies
dust
picked up
covered
the
him
pigeon.
so perfectly that I didn't see him. That was weird. That's a new one on me. That's never happened before.
We have picked up the pigeon.
We're fighting. Could have got that one with melee. Not taking chances. Maybe I'll take a little chance. Okay. Wasn't expecting that guy just
We have
jump over
released the
wall.
pigeon.
Survivor.
The pigeon has delivered our message. A pigeon has been located. Enemies picked up the pigeon.
Really? Not on my wall.
Return to the combat area.
Oh yeah, you can't just. One. Can you get another? Maybe that guy will be nice and come get me. Oh, is he? Hey. It's alright, you tried. No, we're gonna lose. Yep, shoot.
The enemy has released the pigeon.
Three. I got three.
The pigeon has delivered the enemy's message.
That was kind of fun. Probably should play it more often. I feel like Ballroom Blitz is better for a team deathmatch, but sure, we'll put up Mount Opera, I guess. I'll play one more. Speed of this one was a scoreboard. 9. Not so bad. I got more kills with the knife. After this, I'll probably play something else, but you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's just go a little bit just for now. Let's call it a quit just for right now. I'm gonna go boot up another game because I gotta plan next week. Gotta plan a week out. Since I don't want this to last forever, I won't play Kino or Ascension. Let's play 5. I haven't played 5 in a little bit, so we'll see how this goes. I like 5. I think it's underrated. I like it more than I like Shangri-La.
For the present are certain to miss the future. I said are certain to miss the future. Oh no, I missed that. Prime Minister Castro.
We invite you here today in good faith.
Power level critical. Major systems offline.
I'm an idealist with a sniper rifle.
It's not a sniper rifle per se. Pay me a visit first. You are.
Pain is temporary.
That would have
Pride
been really
is
embarrassing
forever.
if I died right there.
I need a re-up. Your president needs slugs.
Not quite what I wanted.
Understatement of the century.
Classic JFK line right there. Probably help if I'd actually, showed my footage with it. Again, I'm rusty, okay? I apologize. That's a lot. It's time to leave the room.
I know there is a devil, for I see a storm coming, and his hand is in it.
ultimately gonna arrive.
No ammo! I seem to have no more rounds. Full auto zombie slaying death in the palms of my hands. You're all pardoned! They should put my face on the silver dollar. Time to repair a barricade. It's when the sun is shining. The pay is good and I can walk to work. I'm seeing in twos. Just what the doctor ordered.
Power restored. We are now at DEFCON 1. Security lockdown active.
In here. And I have not enough. Here. I know he's gonna turn into a runner as soon as I shoot him. Or I guess not. Unless he's not the only one. Might have a buddy around here somewhere, I don't know. Usually they just take a run. And they're the last one on round 4 and up. Hey there, skids.
Now this is
I hate it.
power.
I hate when they give me crap like that. I didn't want that. Now, when the Pentagon Thief, he might come this round, so I'm just gonna shoot right into that as soon as he... Nope. One thing on this. We'll see if I can get something a little better.
The Solomon Isles. I have to move very fast to even stand still. Who's your president now, stale skin? Back to the Stone Age, bubbas. Cure for the living impaired.
We are now at DEFCON.
Should we go ahead and get the DEFCONs ready? Thank God this isn't co-op.
We are now at
Yeah.
DEFCON 3.
My internet ain't good enough for that. My PC might be a little better though. So.
We are now at DEFCON 4.
Hopefully that doesn't.
Warning. Breach detected on level 3. Initiate security protocol 115.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it.
Need some beans for the chowder here.
Ha.
Your country thanks you. Come on, I'm good for it.
Where's the box? Where's the box, buddy?
Hey, Fido, I got your brother in the palm of my hand. I'm the President of the United States. Open! By the dawn's early light. Boom! I'm coming for you all! Oh, pisser. Taste the flavor, chomper. On this earth, God's work is in our hands. Huzzah! I am all that stands between the dead and the White House. losing
games
arm
play,
on my account.
I get really focused when I play COD Zombies. Oh, probably need to get you first.
Inaugurate this, Marble Eyes. Stick that in your vis-a-vis, Uncle Zeddy.
Ooh, controller lag is weird right now. So. That's way in.
I see in America, unafraid of beauty and grace, but you beasts aren't helping. Mount that limb next to my Pulitzer. Breaking zombies like a bastard out here. Forgive one's enemies, but never, ever forget their names. Ah, this works. I see in America, unafraid of beauty and grace, but you beasts aren't helping. In the Navy for years, never tasted anything that fishy.
Still love the calming elevator music. Look at the other pieces of the Easter egg song. Look into that. Next thing's getting rid of this stupid thing. There's no PhD flopper on this map, so there's no point in keeping up the Zuka. It'd be funny if you could distract the Pentagon thief with a monkey bomb. That'd be hilarious. No, you can't though.
greatly.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Who's your president now, stale skin?
Come on, don't give me the same 1 of 5 weapons you always give me.
Munchers, ride shotgun.
2 shotguns, I guess. This is what we're gonna do. don't expect to get very far in this game, so I don't know. I might end it prematurely on that.
Warning. Breach detected on level 3. Initiate security protocol 115.
What are we doing, Brian?
Ammo! That's an order!
Oh no. Oh no.
Attention. Containment successful.
Well,
System monitoring will remain on alert status.
that ain't good.
Your country thanks you.
So this game might end up being shorter than you guys think. Some mistakes were made. Again, I haven't played 5 in a while. I used to play 5 a lot, actually, because I thought it was underrated. I've been playing Ascension.
Forgive one's enemies, but never, ever forget their name!
Nope, that was dumb. Don't ask me what I was thinking.
Back in the game, kids. Fail miserably, achieve greatly. Back to the Stone Age, fellas. Pain is temporary. Pride is forever. Never fight out of fear, but never fear to fight.
Oh, we don't just honestly. Next time I'll play zombies from the beginning. So we're gonna see how long we last. Not, whoa, not very long apparently. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out. It was fun. Next time I'll give a better show. If I plan on actually playing zombies, I'll play it for real instead of just this. It was fun talking to all of you. That was a good video we watched. Like I said, I got some stuff coming, some stuff I'm doing right now. Working on a podcast for a different channel. Let's see here what else we got. We got a book that's going to be out soon, probably in May. The end of May, I plan on having a book out. I actually want to have it all ready. It's going to be a series. I'm going to release the first... I don't know, actually. I don't know how many of them I'm going to release for free, but I'm going to write like 4 or 5 of them consecutively, kind of gauge what the audience likes and dislikes, and kind of go from there. We're going to see how these do. Sort of a crowd testing thing. I think they'll do pretty well, because or at least I think they'll do better than the last ones. One, I've got better friends now than I did when I was 19. And 2, just because they're better. They're just better books, man. Like, I've learned so much as a writer. So much more than I was learning before, because my writing in those books it has not aged well. It is very dated. And I am not that big of a fan of what I wrote back in the day, but I think these are going to be cool. Thank you guys for coming out. I will give you updates in the future. Don't know what I'm planning on doing with this channel specifically, but we shall see. I'll keep you posted. All right. So thank you for coming out here. God bless, and I will